10:01, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs, 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans are in San Francisco, and they will have joint practice today against the 49ers. Practice is set to start at 12 Central Time. Of course, they will meet for the preseason opener at Levi Stadium on Thursday night. Meanwhile, in NFL news, the Dallas Cowboys and star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams have agreed to a 3-year extension worth $105.9 million. According to ESPN, the deal includes $101 million guaranteed. It is the largest third contract in NFL history for a defensive tackle. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. Welcome into 104.5 The Zone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Joint Practice Day. We will live vicariously through the select members of Titans media that decided to make the trip out west. Of course, Buck among them. He will not be here today, and we will hear from him tomorrow. Practice set to start at noon Central Time, so we'll give you as many updates as possible. But in the meantime, Robert and myself with you until 1 o'clock. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, which, Robert, we have waiting for you in the mini fridge here.
You really saved it?
Oh, you know we did. We always were going to. We would never leave you out in the lurch like that. I would never do that to you. The Hattie Melt has your name on it. Brand new, limited time only, sweet and smoky, fried or grilled sandwich with melted cheese, pickles, that new Hattie Q sauce, the crispy crinkle cut fries. They brought a ton for us yesterday in the studio. Whole station was fed, but we made sure we put some aside for you as a welcome back gift from your vacation, which I hope you enjoyed.
You're too good to me, dude. It was probably the best vacation I've ever had. It was just too short. I feel like every time you have a vacation, somebody's going to be like, it wasn't long enough.
Well, no, but it was too short because you, for some reason, since you started working here, I don't think you've ever taken like a full-blown vacation. It's like 3 to 4 day increments. I keep telling you, dude, take like 10 days, just a whole week.
I feel so guilty when I do that.
Don't feel guilty.
I honestly felt guilty yesterday. It's like I haven't
just because you were in town.
I was in town, and but I knew on the front end that I would need another day. Like we drove 10 hours back from the beach on Sunday, got home at like 11:30. I probably could have came in, but I haven't used a vacation day yet this year, so I was like, hell with it, might as well do it. But I honestly feel so guilty when I'm away, like I'm not working good enough. So.
We got to get you out of that, man. We got to get you out of that. You deserve like an 8-day all-inclusive.
Oh.
How do you prefer to vacation? Do you prefer the all-inclusive, kick your feet up, do nothing, everything is done for you, like resort type of thing? Or do you prefer to, as my fiance Megan calls it, bourdaining it and going to a place and you are your own tour guide and just exploring?
Maybe somewhere in the middle, because I feel like at an all-inclusive, everything is done for you, but you have no real choices. Like, if I'm the one driving, I get to decide what we have for dinner. I get to decide when we eat lunch, what we have. Like, when we went down there, I was fully under the expectation that we were going to cook every single meal. I was going to grill out the first night, get some burgers and hot dogs. If we needed lunch, we had sandwiches. I like being in control, and I also like feeding people. And we ate and ate and ate. I feel like I am 4 sizes larger than I was when I left. We had so much seafood. Low Country Bowl, soft shell crabs, blue crabs. I bought a pound of salmon, a pound of tuna, turned it into sashimi. Like, we just continued to eat. And by the way, just hot dogs, burgers. We had 4 packs of cheese because everybody was like, oh, burgers will need cheese. So I think I had more grilled cheeses this weekend after the hours of 10 p.m. than I have in my entire life. All that to say, fantastic vacation. That metal detector, dude, I'm rich. I'm so rich. 5 fines. 5 fines on the beach. I metal detected for probably 2 hours. 3 tent poles, the bottom of one tin can, and an Allen wrench were all I found with this metal detector.
The chat is asking about the metal detector. If you found anything good, you can jump in on the FNM Bank chat, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. So you just found a bunch of junk. You found basically a bunch of trash.
Yes, a bunch of trash. Which I had kids with me. I had them as like my excavation squad.
Yep.
So like as soon as I hear a beep, I'm like, start digging, kids. Get to work. And every time we found something, they thought, I mean, it might as well have been buried treasure. Just the fact that machine went beep, they would go bonkers, start digging with their hands, screaming. And whenever we got something, do you remember, I can't remember what they're, the Tauntaun Raiders in Star Wars, like when they do something, they'd be like, pumping their arms.
Yeah.
Those kids, that's the happiest kids have ever been to play with an Allen wrench in their entire life.
I think the Tauntaun Raiders were portrayed by children. Like, I think they hired children.
I think you're thinking about the Jabberwockies. Or no, not the dancing
You're just making stuff up.
No,
But that's
what
from
are
SpongeBob.
they'd be like,
the Ewoks.
no, oh, okay, maybe that's what. No, I'm talking about the dudes with the hoods that had the yellow eyes.
Oh, okay, that's who I'm talking. Yeah, no, that's who I'm talking about. I think they got kids. Anyway, okay, so you had kids playing with Allen wrenches and finding tin cans and things like that. So what are you going to do now? You're going to return the metal detector?
No.
I feel like you should return to sender. Clearly, it's not functional.
No, it's very functional. It definitely works. I'm taking it to Nashville Shores. I'm going to check out their beach. There's no rules against that.
We could find somewhere, surely, that will have. You think Nashville Shores is going to have some buried treasure?
Oh, where am I supposed to go? Where are they going to allow me to dig at? Be like, oh,
not Nashville Shores. You and I went to Nashville Shores, tried to go knee deep in the water on that beach, and they started yelling at us.
So maybe Titans facility. Maybe at the Titans facility, I could go metal detecting there. Find a water line, just bust it all over the field.
While we're watching practice, you're just in between fields.
I think this is how I know the vacation went well, because all of the things I wanted to do did not go to the best of its abilities. Like fishing, we didn't really catch much. Like we caught some little pompanos, some pinfish, some whiting, but didn't really catch any big fish, and that was totally okay. Went metal detecting, didn't really find anything, totally okay. Didn't go crabbing. The crabbing spot that was near us was not very good. It was also overrun with a bunch of other people trying to crab.
Yeah.
So I just went out and bought them. Totally okay. It was one of the trips where once everyone left the house, checkout's at 10, and I'm doing my final walkthrough of the house, I was getting misty-eyed, thinking about, like, I'm going to think back to this week and be like, oh, that was a great trip.
Oh, I love that.
That's great. And everyone in the entire house that had a phone was playing Pokemon Go. We dominated this beach, held every gym down. It was my dream birthday. It was exceptional. I had a great time.
Now, Brandon on the FNM Bank chat says, metal detecting is overrated. Go magnet fishing.
I would be cool with that, too.
What is that?
So you've never even heard of magnet
Never
fishing.
even heard of it.
So I bought my brother one of these. They come in different degree of magnets, where it's a magnet on a big string, not really a string, more like a rope, and you just go to bridges or places where people would throw things over the bridge, and you toss your magnet out there, and you kind of just like fish around, pull out old bicycles, guns, knives. But the problem is, if you find something really good, like I remember a video of a guy finding like a hand grenade underneath a bridge, you have to call the police and report it, because it could be a murder weapon, it could be stolen. Like, you're not allowed to actually keep the stuff you find. With metal detecting, I guess if you found a gun metal detecting, you should also report that to the authorities. But magnet fishing, I'm cool with that. Anybody wants to have me out for a magnet fish, look on Amazon. They're actually pretty cheap. Those and blow darts, two things that totally took me by surprise about how acquirable they are.
Well, it's good to have you back. And it's good to be talking about joint practice. Now, we don't get to live stream it, right? We're going to be monitoring joint practice for updates. And Buck will join the show tomorrow and Thursday from San Francisco. So we'll learn more about what got accomplished on the practice field. This is the only joint practice the Titans are having with the Niners. I mean, in any of these, you go in just, yes, hoping that there's some good competition and that the Titans can get something out of it, and that they get tested in certain areas where maybe they're not as tested when they're playing against themselves. But 1A, 1B, and 1C is get out clean, right? Get out of joint practice healthy, especially taking on the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Niners have been banged up all year. The substation talk has not subsided. So that's my biggest thing. My biggest objective for this week is, can the Titans, for the love of God, come away unscathed from the electrical substation situation on the West Coast?
See, the thing that stinks about this is the first little tweak, the first little ankle injury, or someone gets a hangnail. Oh, it's the substation. I'm not looking forward to that. Hopefully, it's a clean bill of health for all involved, and we don't have to deal with any of the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But I would much rather talk about the good on good and the bad on bad.
Yes. So we will get a chance to do that with practice starting at noon, but there is much to discuss. Somehow we didn't get to this yesterday, but the Titans dropped a depth chart, an unofficial depth chart. You take it for what it's worth, but some interesting notes on there for us to take note of. One position in particular that caught my eye with the Titans depth chart on the defensive side of the ball. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We will continue to talk Titans training camp coming up next. Yesterday was a wonderful day here at 104.5 The Zone because Hattie B's Hot Chicken brought us lunch, rolling out a new limited time only offer of the Hattie Melt, sweet and smoky fried or grilled sandwich with melted cheese, pickles, and that brand new Hattie Q sauce, which we've told you about. It's creamy, it's smoky, it's barbecuey, it's perfect. I could drink it. I literally did yesterday. You can put it on the sandwich, you can dunk the sandwich, eat it with the crinkle cut fries, the southern greens, the pimento mac and cheese. Hashtag sides matter. Hattie B's understands that. You can also get the new Smoky Bird, sweet and smoky tender bites, again, fried or grilled chicken with pickles, bacon, shredded cheese, green onions, and the Hattie Q sauce. Download the Hattie B's app today. Order for pickup or delivery. Start to build up those rewards. You can visit any one of Hattie B's multiple Middle Tennessee locations, including at Geodis Park, coming up Wednesday when Nashville SC's in action against Monterey, and then Saturday when Nashville SC takes on Miami in a matchup of the top two teams in Major League Soccer. Download that app today, get to ordering, and run to a Hattie B's to get you a Hattie Melt today. Now, I have some metal detecting advice for you, Robert. A friend of mine who happens to be an archaeologist that listens to the show has texted in an informed opinion, an informed piece of advice for you on your next metal detecting venture after striking out a little bit at Holden Beach over the weekend.
Well, let's hear it then.
He said, tell Bert he needs to look at old historical maps and metal detect around old buildings. USGS is a great source of historical maps. Just make sure that you get landowner permission before you do.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, who knows what kind of trinkets you could dig up.
See, what me and my dad used to do, there's like a creek that used to run behind the land on his house. And we used to go down there and find like old glass bottles and like medicine bottles, like arrowheads. Like we dug a bunch of stuff out. So I'm totally into that. I appreciate the advice.
How far down does it detect metal? Like into the earth?
So you can put different settings on it and the thing, Buck really outdid himself. Like he did not get me a cheapo metal detector. Like it will tell you what is hitting. So it looks for precious metals like gold and silver. Mm-hmm. It can look for minor metals like iron or tin. And it will tell you on the screen indicator what is hitting. So I appreciate that. And you can also change the depth. But it says you don't want to go too deep because obviously like if you're digging for something that would be deeper, but at the beach, most things are surface level. So I didn't have it too deep. I think it was like 3 meters. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I had to double check on that.
All right. So there you go. Some metal detecting advice. Now, the Titans are on the West Coast. They will be practicing against the San Francisco 49ers. And we play this game every year at Titans training camp when they're just practicing against each other. What is it actually? Right? Is the Titans defensive line and front seven group that good? Or is the Titans offensive line going to struggle that much? Most recently, Robert, after the open practice at Nissan Stadium on Friday, it was, okay, is this Titans wide receiver core going to be that good? Or are these starting Titans corners going to be that much of a concern? Because the receivers kind of stole the show, specifically Carnell Tate, who had 3 touchdowns on Friday, had a ridiculous one-handed snag going across the middle of the field on a ball that honestly was probably too high from Cam Ward, but Carnell Tate got to show off why he was the number 4 overall pick. So that's the latest that we were talking about yesterday when it comes to Alontae Taylor and Cordell Flott. Is there a concern there? And I don't think there should be any expectation that Taylor and Flott are going to come in and be first-team all-pro caliber corners. Right? Flott's a nice player that the Giants wanted to keep. Taylor is a talented player who we know well, local guy, Coffee County High School, Tennessee. But there's a reason why the Saints weren't willing to commit to him as a full-time outside corner, right? So I think there should be some boom or bust expected here with the Titans cornerback group. The problem, Bert, is that as we transfer that conversation over to joint practice against the Niners, is I don't know how much we're going to get to learn about this Titans cornerback or defensive back group as a whole, going up against the likes of Demarcus Robinson and
Jacob Cowing,
Jordan Watkins, because the Niners are decimated right now, just the way they were throughout the course of last year. Mike Evans isn't on the practice field, or maybe he has returned as of late. I don't know how much run Mike Evans is going to get, if any, this week. But Christian Kirk has been banged up. George Kittle is out right now. This skill group for the Niners has picked up injury after injury. So I don't know just how much of that quality work, best on best, the Titans defensive backs are going to get this week.
Yeah, there's always something to learn, right? Even if it's a small piece of information. Like the biggest information we could learn is if they still struggle against a depleted wide receiver room.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's the quick test of like they have to beat these lesser guys. So there isn't a question about competition level. It's like, okay, we know that they can handle the second and third strings. Like that's obvious. But if there's a situation where they are giving up deep passes, Demarcus Robinson, like people would say, oh, he's a free agent wide receiver, but he's not an empty chair. He's been serviceable for a lot of his career with the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Rams. I mean, he's been almost better than serviceable. So you will find out what there is to learn from this. But I think the obvious position to start looking at would be the Titans offensive line versus the 49ers defensive line, and vice versa. Because the 49ers offensive line isn't a world beater by any situation. Like you would hope that Jeffrey Simmons and JFM and Jermaine Johnson would go out there and tally up the win sheet with some wins.
Mike Evans, for what it's worth, has not practiced in 9 days. He's missed 5 straight practices. So I'm going to go ahead and say I don't expect to hear about Mike Evans going up against Alontae Taylor this week, which is unfortunate because that's why you do these joint practices. I'm very intrigued to see how many starters play. Remember Robert Saleh said, I think this was back at minicamp, starters are going to play in the preseason. And we've seen this typically after a joint practice. Starters don't get a lot of run in the preseason game when you got that work in at joint practice. Now, Robert Saleh reserves the right to go back on that decision to play whoever he wants to or doesn't want to play in the preseason game. But he did tell us the intention is for starters to play in all 3 preseason games. So we'll see if they get good enough work in this week to where that changes at all. The chat is pointing out Deebo Samuel is a San Francisco 49er. He is one of the few healthy skill position players out there, so we should hear about some of those battles. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey out there as well. Brock Purdy has been healthy out at Niners practice as of late. So you mentioned the Titans' defensive line against the Niners' offensive line. It's not an elite group, the Niners' offensive line. Trent Williams is an elite left tackle, but it is a step up from what the Titans' front 7 group has been going up against in practice.
And correct me if I'm wrong, at the stadium practice, it seemed like the Titans' offensive line opened up some holes for the running game that may have given people some optimism in the form of that.
I wasn't there, to be honest with you. I heard some of that, but like I said, the main takeaways were about Cam Ward and Carnell Tate's connection. So I'd be lying if I said if I had an intimate knowledge of the run game and how that took place at Nissan Stadium.
But they would be going up against a similar front as the Titans offensive line does at practice. So I would hope that seeing Jeffrey Simmons and seeing this style of defense on a regular basis would have them a little more prepared than a normal team going into a joint camp practice against the 49ers. I would hope that they would also stack some wins up.
That's an interesting wrinkle to this, right? Robert Saleh taking that defensive scheme, implementing it with the Titans, and then early on in the process of really getting everyone's feet under them at the start of his first training camp, going to San Francisco up against Kyle Shanahan, a coach who he's known for years, who he's intimately familiar with. I don't know how much those chess matches really translate on the practice field, right? I mean, both coaches are just trying to get the best work in for their respective team. But that's kind of an interesting wrinkle to this, right? Robert Saleh throwing some things at Kyle Shanahan and vice versa, the way that they have against each other in practices for years and years, and now they're doing it with different teams.
Yeah, and just like looking over the 49ers roster, like even with all of the injuries, they still have a ton of talent around the ball. Like, I mean, looking at their secondary, we talk about how well the Titans wide receivers have shown out in practices. This is a good matchup for them. Like, there's not a bunch of empty chairs there. They've got guys that are established starters. And I love the addition of Ephesians Prysock in the 4th round. Like, they are kind of deep in the secondary to where I feel like they will at least be able to compete with the Titans wide receivers, which have you ever thought that you would get to say that? The strength of the Titans team is their wide receivers and potentially the passing game. Like, that's a great spot to be in if you're a Titans fan.
So I'm reading an article, 49erswebzone.com, injury updates out of San Francisco from yesterday's practice. So Christian McCaffrey actually did miss practice yesterday. Nick Bosa missed practice. He has missed 4 consecutive full practices dealing with soreness, apparently. Kyle Shanahan didn't sound too concerned about Bosa's status. He said, quote, he was doing great, and then he got sore just going through some of the individuals. I mean, you wish that didn't happen, but no, there's no concern to where something's happened. That's a big setback or anything. While we're waiting for the soreness to go away, we're evaluating why the soreness has happened, but I still feel pretty good about that. No Mike Evans with the quad, no Christian Kirk with the calf, and Christian McCaffrey was not on the field when practice began. Apparently, he doesn't have an injury designation, but the team said that he was dealing with tightness and was just given the day off.
And their roster construction, that makes a lot of sense. They have 7 running backs on the roster and also a ton of names of yesteryear. Do you remember Khalil Herbert?
Oh, wow.
Virginia Tech's finest. Sincere McCormick.
Oh, my goodness. This is a who's who of remember that guy.
Isaac Garendo, 4th-round pick. Dude killed the combine. Just a bunch of dudes sitting at the 3rd and 4th string. So if Christian can't play, they have some names there. It makes sense why they would have 7 running backs on the roster so you can have someone to practice if CMC is going to sit out. We also got an update on George Kittle this morning from, is it Matt Zenitz?
Yes.
He put out 49er star tight end George Kittle continues to make terrific progress working back from the torn Achilles he suffered in January, and there's a high level of confidence at this point that he'll be able to play week 1 versus the Rams. You would imagine that means his preseason is over. They're going to take it cautiously.
Most likely.
Allow him to come back. So you're not going to be working against another part of the vital 49ers passing game and running game.
Yeah. So with that in mind, if we flip it around to what the Titans offensive line will be up against, this is a Niners front headlined by Nick Bosa. And as we mentioned, I don't know, he wasn't on the practice field yesterday. I doubt they throw him into full work against the Titans today. Michael Williams has been out as well. What do you think? I mean, is the Titans offensive line going to get a better test than what they've been getting against the Titans defensive line with no Bosa and no Williams?
Yeah, that's a great question. The 49ers, if Nick Bosa is out, then that's their 1-for-1 with Jeffrey Simmons, right? That's the guy that would be wrecking shop. Alfred Collins isn't a nobody. They signed Osa Odigizua from Dallas, or traded for him, rather.
Diamador Lenore is a good player.
Right. So they have guys. I don't know if it's also different practicing against someone else, right, versus your own guys. So I would say that this would be a sizable test for this offensive line because they haven't really been that great outside of Peter Skoronski in training camp.
The Niners player who had the best never mind. I'm looking at something completely different here. But I'm trying to figure out right now where this Niners front seven sort of stands in the grand scheme of things to get a better gauge of what the Titans are going to be up against this week, because we do have a depth chart and there are some interesting things along the offensive line. Now, it's an unofficial Titans depth chart, but they do not have Jackson Slater listed at right guard. They have him as Peter Skoronski's backup at left guard. Now, take these things for what they're worth. First unofficial depth chart, and we're sitting here talking about it on August 11th. But Jackson Slater, the former fifth-rounder out of Sacramento State, is a guy that we thought could compete for that starting right guard position. He's not even listed at right guard on the depth chart. Cordell Volson listed as the starter, and the rookie out of Arkansas, Fernando Carmona, is listed as the backup with Garrett Dellinger, the third-team right guard. Does this look like a situation, Bert, where Jackson Slater is just going to be asked to be kind of a Swiss Army knife along the interior? And it doesn't look like he's in line to start or maybe even play any meaningful snaps, but he is not listed as a right guard when it felt like he was right there in the thick of things for that starting competition.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting it's okay if he's just a backup right now. It's still only his second year out of Sacramento State. Like, the guy's got plenty of time to stack days and be a meaningful contributor in that offensive line room. But it's also worth noting that they have a ton of UDFAs and filler on the depth chart. Once the initial 53 comes out, I would imagine Slater would probably be a backup for both guard positions and potentially the center position. And while we're talking about the center position, did it strike you as weird that Pat Coogan is the third string behind Andre James? Because it did not seem to be that way, at least initially in training camp.
No, Coogan, it felt like we saw more of Pat Coogan with the twos, to your point. But at the same time, we don't see every practice, number one. Robert Saleh told us that we're going to move guys around, and they are clearly trying to test Pat Coogan against different fronts, playing with different players. But it's not surprising to me because of the experience Andre James has, and this is a guy that played for Carmen Bracillo with the Raiders.
Started like 63 games in his career.
I mean, to be honest, when they made the signing, I thought Andre James is a guy that, I mean, there was a scenario where he could come in and take the starting center position.
Agreed.
Austin Schlottman, it feels, again, we're not out there for every practice, but it feels like every time we look out there at the ones, it's Schlottman snapping the football. But I wouldn't be too surprised that Andre James is ahead of Pat Coogan. Not to mention, Coogan struggled snapping the ball a little bit, right? I mean, clearly there's an adjustment there, and we've seen some of those high snaps when he's with the twos and threes. But left to right on the offensive line, it's no big surprise on the depth chart. Dan Moore Jr., Peter Skoronski, Austin Schlottman, Cordell Volson, and J.C. Latham. If you had to guess, Robert, the 49ers front seven player that had the best pass rush win rate in the 2025 season, who would you say?
Ooh.
I'm looking at ESPN pass rush win rate.
And is still on the team?
This player is not on the team.
Oh, you'll have to let me know.
It's Bryce Huff.
Wow.
Who retired at the age of 28 last year.
Who was the next closest that is still on the team?
I'm looking at a top 20 across the NFL.
Oh, gotcha.
And Bryce Huff was 12th in pass rush win rate in the NFL last year. He had 33 wins, a win rate of 15%, 12th best in the NFL, right behind Brian Burns of the Giants.
And so maybe that's a little skewed because he had maybe limited pass rush reps, and the ones that he did, he won on. Because I would imagine guys like Bosa, who rush with such consistency and have so many rush attempts that their pass rush success rate would be lower just strictly because of how many reps they are getting as a rusher.
I completely missed this in the NFL offseason. I'm just bringing it up because this was one of the best Niners players off the edge last year, and the Titans will not be seeing him at joint practice. But I missed that Bryce Huff retired at the age of 27. He's 28 now, but was 27 when he announced it back in March. Bryce Huff, former New York Jet, played for Robert Saleh. He is retiring and launching a business with his brother that focuses on building safety infrastructure to reduce fire risk from lithium-ion batteries. How about that?
It's all about who you know.
Isn't that insane?
I want to join the family business. It's like, well, what do you know about lithium-ion batteries?
That's
buddy?
crazy. Played 4 years in New York, like I said, played for Saleh, was part of the Eagles Super Bowl roster a little bit after that. The Niners traded for him before the 2025 season. He ended up with 15 QB hits, 4 sacks, 6 TFLs, and ended up retiring at the age of 27. A little aside, I honestly totally missed that headline. Good for Bryce Huff, man. Didn't medically retire, just got out, and is going into business with his brother. So that's cool.
Was St. Paul's Episcopal near you? That's where he went to school in Alabama.
Oh, yeah, in Birmingham?
Yep, that's where he went to high school.
Okay, there you go. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Daniel on the FNM Bank chat asks us if we can talk about, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. I struggled with this during the draft. Dejon Stribling?
Close enough.
Okay. You liked this player coming out, right?
I did like him a lot. He was a late riser, too, because if you were looking at wide receiver rankings maybe a month and a half before the draft, he was looking like a fourth-round pick.
Yeah, was a second-rounder out of Ole Miss. And he bounced around, played at Washington State, Oklahoma
believe he was
State.
the first overall pick of the second round.
Yeah, 33rd overall pick. In fact, I think he overlapped with Cam Ward. Cam was at Washington State, I believe, in 2022.
You'd know better than I.
So I do think he played with Cam. He had 51 catches for 602 yards and 5 touchdowns that year with Cam Ward as his quarterback.
And it is a loss on the Titan side for not having to go against him because he's a big, strong wide receiver. The statement that Kyle Shanahan made after the draft that had everyone perturbed was he's a really great run blocker, which in like wide receiver terms is like saying a girl has really good personality. So it would have been good to see him go against Cordell Flott or Alontae Taylor because one of my biggest critics about Flott was the fact that everyone was able to get off his press in some of these training situations. So getting to see him go against another strong wide receiver would have been good. But we'll have to wait and see. I haven't seen anything about his availability going forward.
Yeah, I haven't
either. Just the
either.
fact that he sustained an injury.
I know he missed practice a little over a week ago with hamstring tightness. Grant Cohn, who covers the 49ers for Sports Illustrated, said, quote, he is already the best wide receiver on the team, full stop, about Stribling.
Which... When did he say that? Did he say that before Debo? I guess it really wouldn't matter if Debo's there or not. But
no, this was yesterday.
That's troubling. But maybe also
Mike Evans isn't practicing,
right? Like there's a caveat with all of this, right? Like Ricky Pearsall, is out for the year. They didn't really get to see him.
Yeah.
Going in there against now he's going against Deshaun Robinson and Jacob Cowing and these other cats.
Stribling he did practice yesterday. So
so maybe they will get to see him.
I think we may get to see him. Titans may get to see him.
That's fun. That's good. That's exactly what you want to see in these joint camps. Like if you just go practice against people who suck and don't have good you don't learn anything. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in if you want to talk Titans depth chart.
Coming up at the end of the hour, if you tell us what made you say, oh no, in sports this week, we will let you know what you can win. Not yet, but something good in store for Oh No 1045 every single Tuesday. So we've gone through the offensive line on the unofficial depth chart. Wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Carnell Tate. No huge surprises there. Alec Iomanner is listed as Ridley's backup. Alec has had a good camp. I'd say Alec has probably flashed more than Calvin Ridley. Chimere Dike listed as the primary backup to Wan'Dale Robinson, and Bryce Oliver listed as the two behind Carnell Tate, and Gunnar Helm listed as the starting tight end on the offense with Daniel Bellinger as the two. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, running backs 1 and 2 respectively. No surprise there. The thing that caught my eye was on defense. And again, you take everything with a grain of salt here. And let me preface this by saying there are 12 starters listed on the defense. So they've got 3 linebackers, they've got the 2 corners, the 2 safeties, and the nickel. With that said, Mahmoud Diabate is listed as the starter at linebacker ahead of Anthony Hill. Player 4 years into his career, he was signed as a free agent during the offseason. Former Utah product, was originally signed as a UDFA by the Browns back in 2023. He's played in 46 games, 18 starts, 112 tackles in his career. So Anthony Hill has yet to have his name at the top of that depth chart at linebacker. But, I'd be lying if I said I could tell you what Diabate's training camp reps have really looked like. We've talked about Anthony Hill a little bit. I think James Williams and Cedric Gray have maybe stolen more of the show to our uneducated eye at training camp. James Williams listed as the backup to Cody Barton. Cedric Gray, unsurprisingly, listed as a starter.
Yeah, with Diabate, when they signed him, I got excited because I remembered him on the Browns, and he's like a shot out of a cannon. But the interesting thing I think he adds to the room is adding someone with a similar body type, maybe not as stacked as James Williams, but long, thin, like able to cover, good speed, good in space. He just adds a different body type from your Cody Bartons, your Anthony Hills, and all your other guys.
615-737-1045. Robert, do we have anything to give away for what made people say, oh no, in sports this week?
We've got 2 single-day tickets to see the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know if you know anything about this. This is the biggest rock/metal concert in the world, or at least it is billed as such. Megadeth, Zandig, anyone you can think of in rock or heavy metal. I think My Chemical Romance is there. It's obviously a 3-day concert, I believe, 4-day concert. You can check the lineup out. It's not in our liner to tell you exactly who is playing, but it is a big concert to go along with a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa.
All you got to do is tell us what made you say, oh no, in sports this week. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. The best submission will get a pair of tickets to the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville. We'll do it next. 615-737-1045, the best submission for what made you say, oh, no, in sports. It can be in life. It can be in whatever you want. If you have a good submission, you will receive a pair of tickets to the Louder Than Life Music Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. I will get us started with something that I cannot believe we haven't talked about yet, because this came down, I think Wednesday we saw this. And we had a couple days of show. One of them was out at training camp. And then Friday, Robert, you, luckily for you, missed the T-Rack discourse.
Oh, what happened? What's up with T-Rack?
T-Rack as we knew him is gone. There's a new T-Rack in town.
What does that mean? Is his name Track now?
No, they just gave him a rebrand. He just looks different.
For real? What does he look like?
And Titans fans lost their mind. Let's see your reaction to the brand new T-Rack.
Oh, he looks like a panda.
Titans fans were not happy on Friday.
Dang, look at all these promotional photos they took. They took pictures of him with an actual raccoon. Now, was it... Damn, he's busting it down low in this picture.
Was it just the vocal minority? Is this actually how the fan base feels? I don't know. We don't need to relitigate that whole conversation. But
I miss the T-Rack that ate that cheerleader.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to inflatable T-Rack?
I know.
Like Bubble Boy T-Rack.
And I guess that's and that T-Rack was kind of a depiction of the T-Rack that we knew, the little goofy T-Rack with the little tongue sticking out.
It looks like a kid drew it.
Yeah, which I kind of loved. I thought it was endearing and silly, but, Titans fans lost their minds. I was surprised at how much they lost their minds, because Titans fans did not seem to lose their minds over rebranding the entire organization and taking the logo and the colors and all of these things. But it was T-Rack that was like the final straw. I don't know. It was an interesting day on Friday for sure. So somehow we did not get to Purdue athletic director Tommy McClelland in his introductory press conference. Now, this made the rounds. Many of you have probably already seen this, but Tommy McClelland took an interesting path when trying to, I guess, fire up the Purdue fan base as the new AD, saying this at the podium.
Every recruit, every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
Buddy, I get what he was trying to do there, but talk about a swing and a miss. Can you imagine, Robert? Like, let's go back in time, early Nick Saban days at Alabama. If the new athletic director at Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, whatever, got up there and said, you don't want to win championships, go to Alabama. What are we doing here? They're the defending national champions. This made me say, oh, no, this was a massive swing and a miss from Tommy McClelland.
He's trying to capture a little bit of that SIG energy, right? Like at the basketball game when he was like, Purdue sucks.
It's exactly what
and
he's trying to do.
And so does Ohio State and Michigan. And at the time, like Buck talks about it being like, oh, God, we got another loony bin coach. But he actually made it work, won a national championship. So maybe he's trying to capture a little bit of that. I would not be trying to draw the ire of Curt Cignetti, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't give him any reason to circle this game anymore.
Well, and Cignetti doing that, it was brash, and it was this sort of, who's this guy feeling. But that's also just him getting out there and saying, yeah, screw those guys. Like, okay. But to go out there and say, if you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana when they won a championship a matter of months ago is so idiotic. It could be the dumbest thing in sports this week. I'm using it as my oh no. The reason it's my oh no is because this was Curt Cignetti's response when asked about it this week.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. I was wondering if you saw or heard the comments from Tommy McClelland in his opening presser last week. Kind of taking a little shot. Didn't know if you had any comments on that at all.
Not really.
Indiana
You just signed your death warrant.
is going to hang 80 points on Purdue in the regular season finale. Purdue, to remind folks, is a football program that has been in absolute shambles. I'm trying to pull up their season by season and see the last time Purdue had a winning season. Jeff Brom had a good thing going there, and Barry Odom's there now. He's a good coach. He went 2-10 in his first year. But what a swing and a miss from Tommy McClelland. Things are going to get very ugly when they meet to close out the regular season.
Good for them. Going into the playoffs, Indiana will get a nice tune-up win.
Barry Odom has to be pissed. Like, what are you doing, man? Why are you doing that to us?
The thing that made me say, oh, no, I saw this while I was on vacation. Have you seen the McDonald's wedding?
No.
So, ton of outlets have picked this up. TMZ has picked it up. And a lot of people are making fun of this Akron couple who got married in the McDonald's in which they work. And a lot of people are saying, like, oh, when you don't get enough breaks, so you have to get married on your break. Or, oh, I hope the ice cream machine was working at their reception. And people poking fun at the fact that the inside of the restaurant was shut down, but the drive-thru was still open. We need to stop making fun of love, guys. I don't know if you guys out there, and most of you probably have, or maybe you got married so long ago you don't know what's gone on with wedding venues and planners and figuring out who the hell's going to make all this work and what color flowers and what songs. It's expensive. They live in Akron, guys. It's not like it's the most fruitful city for financial opportunity. And by the way, they work at McDonald's.
Wait, I thought this was in Arkansas.
Akron.
Okay.
Akron.
Well, you're right. Akron, Ohio.
So they got married. It was beautiful. Good for them. For them, it was the place where they found each other. It was the place where they work.
Is that what it is? They met
at the McDonald's.
Oh, so yeah, there's no problem.
They were like, oh, this will be a great place to get married. Guys, let them be happy. Ohio is trash. It's not their fault. Just let them get married where they want to get married. It probably cost them nothing. And, oh, by the way, they helped clean up afterwards. It's not like the people that were on duty that they work with were just, oh, you guys are the stewards of cleanliness. You figure this out.
And then they're running the drive-thru and they're taking orders back there. That's great.
Do you, Mr. McDonald, is like, can I get a double cheeseburger? Can I do the McDeal?
This would qualify for Friday Fire.
I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
I could not wait. When I saw this, I was like, oh, everybody's going to poo-poo all over this. And they did.
Oh, that's great.
Let people be happy.
That's great. 615-737-1045. The best submission headed to the Louder in Life Music Festival in Louisville. Let's go to Brandon up first. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. What you got?
Good. So I was actually going to go on the Kurt Signetti thing, especially when he said, "I win, Google me," was the best quote that I've heard. I'm also going to bring up the Bills' new $2.2 billion stadium with obstructed seating views. I thought that was an oh-no as well.
Thanks for the call, Brandon. The Bills Stadium. We're going to get to the Bills Stadium, I imagine, with the dumbest thing in sports tomorrow, but it's making the rounds.
Do we have any details on this? Like, and maybe I'm blissfully unaware. Doesn't every stadium have obstructed view seats? Like, yeah. I feel like there's no way to have, like, a fully non-obstructed view stadium. Like, at ECU, I know there are obstructed seats.
Oh, Neyland, for sure.
I've bought them before just to get into the game.
Neyland has some brutal viewing situations.
But maybe it's just from the standpoint of, this is a brand new stadium. Why are people's views impacted?
They've addressed this. The Bills put out a statement saying, quote, "We are currently," for those who don't know, pictures have surfaced of the Bills' new Highmark Stadium and multiple angles from the stadium where there's poles and where there are rails, concrete blocking views of the field. The franchise said, quote, "We are currently addressing internal and external feedback regarding the facility's operation following the first event. We will utilize the next 6 weeks to refine any details as we prepare for the home opener Thursday, September 17th.
Got to give their hats off to the Titans. I hadn't heard about no obstructed view over there at the new Nissan. Where are the obstructed views over there? Hadn't heard of them.
Oh, man.
Must be behind the drywall.
Talking about refining details. Dude, season opens in a month. What are you going to do about this concrete slab blocking
hammering? Like, don't worry, ma'am. I'm going to make sure you can see. Josh Allen just scored a touchdown.
It's a good submission by Brandon. Remember to stay on hold for your chance to win the tickets. We will take the remainder of your phone calls with Hour 2 coming up next.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
What's happening? What's happening, good people? Let me go on and tell you while you're walking into your weekend what you need to be looking for. That is a truck. Yeah, Mid-10 Ford, they got you covered. They're going to take care of you. All you got to do is slide in there and let them know, hey, man, Big Slay told me. And they will look out for you. Go in there and holler at my guys, Trey, Matt. They're going to be right there to help you walk through the process of going to get your truck. And guess what? It's nothing that's going to be pressure, no high pressure, just low pressure approach, no gimmicks, no pushy sales tactics. That's not what they're about. They're about getting the job done and getting you comfortable and understanding exactly what you're getting into. It's a one-stop shop. If you need service, Mid-10 Ford, they got you covered. They are the ones you need to be looking for. When it comes to the right vehicle, they got you covered. Even a body shop, service, financing, sales, they got it, all of that. All you got to do is go to 1319 Foster Avenue. Visit mid10fordtrucks.com.
11:01, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans will be on the field for joint practice against the 49ers in 1 hour. The preseason opener against San Francisco will be this Thursday night. Meanwhile, in NFL news, the Cowboys and star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams have agreed to a 3-year extension worth $105.9 million. According to ESPN, the deal includes $101 million guaranteed. It is the largest third contract given to a defensive tackle in NFL history. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. (615-737-1045) is how you jump in. Welcome to Hour 2, fueled, of course, by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. That Hattie Melt, it's waiting for you, Bert.
Oh.
Right there in the mini fridge.
Soon as we get a slight reprieve.
All you got to do is take it.
I don't even know if I can wait to heat it up. I might eat it cold.
Dig in. Cold chicken has its place.
It slaps. Cold chicken wings. Yeah. Cold pizza, you can't beat it.
Download the Hattie B's app today or walk into any one of Hattie B's Middle Tennessee locations to get you one. Try that limited time only Hattie Q sauce.
Oh, and slight programming note. I don't know how much you guys pubbed this yesterday, but it is confirmed Jeffrey Simmons will be on the show tomorrow. Buck's going to record an interview with him, and we'll be able to replay that. I do not know what time we're going to play that yet, but whenever we distinguish that, I'm sure we'll tweet it out and figure all that out. Let you guys know.
So we'll run that tomorrow. We've got NFL headlines, training camp intel coming up next. But in the meantime, we are still taking your submissions for what made you say, oh no, in sports. The best submission is headed to the Louder in Life Festival in Louisville. Brandon led us off in the last segment with the Bills Stadium and the obstructed views that have made the rounds at the new Highmark Stadium to the point where the franchise has had to put out a statement. Let's go to Eric in Nashville next. Hey, Eric.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Okay. Hey. No, guys, first of all, I'm just going to tell you off the top, I don't care about the prize, but this I feel like is a good one. I just saw this story on ESPN about 45 minutes ago. I wish I could tell you the name of the guy and where this country club it took place, because I caught it in the middle of the story, but apparently there was a golfer that was trying to make a country club, and he actually wound up pulling his name out of it. I don't know if he had been accepted, was close to being accepted, because apparently he got caught in the lie of saying that he had made a hole-in-one. I don't know. I guess if it's video evidence of him doing that or whatever, he faked a hole-in-one, so he pulled his name out of a membership for a country club. If you guys could find out the name of this person that did this or and where it took place at particular country club, I'd sure appreciate it. Maybe somebody can find it out for me out there. But I just saw the story on ESPN about 45 minutes ago. That's my own no. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, thanks for the call, Eric. Eric always brings the heat. It's a shame.
Love of the game, dude.
Never wants the prize, ever. And it's a shame because he often comes with some of the best submissions. So this happened at Wing Haven Country Club in Missouri. And this was a member golf tournament where all players contribute to a pot. And I'm reading this from Scratch.golf. It's a golf news and, I guess, content website. All players contribute to a pot. It's awarded to anyone who makes a hole-in-one over the course of the event. One member who has been identified by 101 ESPN in St. Louis as one Zach Holland, who's a former college golfer, apparently saw it as an opportunity to scam people out of that money. So he realized playing in the first group off on the day of the tournament, he realized his group would be the first to play the fourth hole that day. In the early hours, he parked his car by the fourth hole. He walked out to the green and manufactured a ball mark on the putting surface and dropped his ball into the hole. And then, I'm fast forwarding, over the course with his playing partners, he made sure to mention that at some point during the round, he was going to receive a call regarding his grandmother, who he claimed was sick in the hospital. The imaginary phone call comes in as he's finishing up the third hole. He's using the pace of play as an excuse, so he drove up to the next tee box ahead of the group. And when they caught up to him and they asked him how his shot went, he casually explained that he had thinned it but he could see that there was a divot on the green where the ball must have landed. So he's saying, hey, will y'all go see where the ball... So he's like...
He wanted someone else to corroborate that he got a hole-in-one.
So he's like, I'm a grandma sick, so I got to skip. I got to go to the next hole. They're calling me from the hospital. He teed off. His group catches up to him. Hey, where's your ball? I didn't see where... Somebody go check it out, see where it landed. The group arrives at the green. There it is. Ball's in the hole. Celebration ensues. Word spreads. And then there starts to be some speculation. There are cameras all over the golf course.
Yeah, of course.
They saw the whole thing. So they saw the whole thing. Apparently, this dude went on ESPN Radio's The Morning After Show. I guess it's that St. Louis show. Atoning for his sins, he owned up to the incident, saying that he deserves everything he's getting on social media. He just chalked it all up to a bad decision, claimed he's not a cheater on the golf course. He has resigned from his membership at Wing Haven Country Club. This is insane behavior from the... Did he not think there were cameras?
Woof.
It's a country club.
This article on AOL.com, which I didn't even think AOL was still a thing. The article is titled, Amateur Golfer Forced to, quote, Suffer Consequences After Fake Hole-in-One Scandal.
It's insane. Insane.
It just beat him up. I would just be like, come on, just beat me up. Get it over with.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, let me golf. I'm sorry. I made a bad decision. Just get it over with.
Oh, 615-737-1045 is the number. Great submission by Eric, but he didn't want the tickets. Matt and Brentwood's next. Hey, Matt.
Hey, guys. So my oh no is from the always entertaining Will Levis. So, of course, after he claimed that he knows that there's not 32 quarterbacks better than him, he goes out Friday night at the scrimmage, drops back and is trying to extend the play, running towards the sideline, and just does the typical Will Levis, falls down and throws the ball out of bounds. So,
Yeah, thanks for the call, Matt. I heard Zach saying yesterday that the crowd was not kind to Will Levis at any point on Friday.
I don't even have a problem with the fact that he fell. My problem is it's becoming like a noticeable repeat behavior where he just rolls out of a semi-decent pocket. And I think we talked about this yesterday. It's not a rollout. It's a dead sprint.
It's a sprint out.
Every single time. The dude is pumping his arms like you've never seen every single time. That's my biggest issue with it. Not the fact that he slipped and lost his footing.
I mean, he drops back, clean pocket, and then just takes off to his right. Like, takes off to the sideline, and he's running so fast that when he slams on the brakes, his legs go out from under him, and he just falls down.
He puts himself in these situations. Like, that's the issue for me. Like, not even the slipping, just the fact that why do you always find yourself in this exact scenario?
Oh, man. Bustin' Diamonds is next. Hey, Bustin'.
Hey, fellas. My oh no this week comes to us from a Brazilian soccer league. It's much more of a visual oh no, I will say. Maybe Lucas can give a little more context to it. But a Brazilian soccer player scores a goal, goes to celebrate by jumping over the barricade, and jumps right into a tunnel. And it may be the funniest video clip I've ever seen, but it also turns out that guy got injured on that, and VAR disallowed the goal. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Bustin'.
The video is ridiculous.
The video... Now, he did suffer an injury. I'll pull up the health update. He is okay. It wasn't like a super serious injury. This player is JC Maranhão is his name. So he plays for Curitiba, which is a town that's very close to, my mom went to college there. It's very close to my mom's hometown in the south of Brazil.
What's their mascot?
It's a big club. Oh, I don't know if they actually have a mascot. It's green. Their colors are very green. But
what's the college called?
Oh, no. Sorry. Curitiba is the club. It's the city. It's the club. My mother went to college in that city is what I'm saying.
Understood.
So he somehow there was like a giant trap door open behind one of the advertising boards behind the goal. He said when he scored, he wanted to go celebrate with his pregnant wife, and he leaps over the advertising board and goes straight down into this tunnel. It looked like something out of a cartoon. Absolutely insane. He just jumps down there, and obviously the first thing is he okay? He did injure his foot. He was subbed out. He twisted his foot a little bit. He said it's a little sore, but he's fine. He's a defender, too, so he doesn't score very often. And so he decided to celebrate, and it turned into a very comical thing, especially now that we know he's okay. The goal did get disallowed. They did go on to win 2-1.
That's got to be the worst part, though, right? The fact that the goal didn't even
100%.
count.
100%.
And I didn't even know he was a defender.
Yeah,
so
he's a center back.
It's just like a defensive lineman getting a pick six. Like, you never get the opportunity to do it. You score, want to jump over, and then all of a sudden it's... He just goes down the Mario tunnel.
Disappears. The way he didn't kind of land in the piece of grass right before the hole and trip in. He went straight in. Like, it looked intentional. It looked like he was just jumping into this abyss.
What a terrible spot for a big-ass hole.
How? Good submission by Bustin' Diamond. Okay, so we've got Brandon with the Bill Stadium, Matt with Will Levis, and Bustin' with the Brazilian soccer player jumping into a trapdoor.
Who you want to go with here? All great submissions.
Oh, all good submissions.
I think on a regular day, if Eric wanted the prize, Eric would have won this.
Easily won.
Let's go with Bustin'.
Let's go with Bustin'. I mean, this made the rounds. People were talking about this. It was going to be my submission if not for the Purdue athletic director saying dumb things. So thank you to everybody for calling in. Bustin', you are getting a gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa and a pair of tickets to Louder Than Life Music Festival. NFL headlines are next.
Oh, as we continue to look around the NFL, a new highest paid player at their position to go along with a fight between an NFL Kohl's spokesperson. All that and more. We go to Lucas Panzica with NFL headlines.
We've got big contracts, we've got training camp intel, and we've got unlikely training camp skirmishes that Robert Walsh has conspiracies about.
I do.
To get to. So let's lead off with the big deal for Quinnen Williams. Now, Robert, he's not technically the highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL. That is still Jalen Carter, who surpassed Jeffrey Simmons with his deal. But Quinnen Williams did just seal the biggest third contract for a defensive tackle in the history of the league as the Cowboys give him a 3-year extension worth $105.9 million. It includes $101 million guaranteed, $63.35 million guaranteed at signing, and a signing bonus of $31.85 million. The $35.3 million average just does put him second among D tackles, so he is just ahead of Jeff now and just behind Jeffrey Simmons. He is at $35.3 million annually. Jeff is at $35.2.
Now, if you look at these two things side by side of the deal that Dallas gave Quinnen Williams and the deal that Green Bay gave Micah Parsons, draft picks aside, if you just look at the money, Micah Parsons ended up getting, $188 million contract. So I think it was also a 4-year deal, maybe a 5-year deal. So those two things side by side, Quinnen Williams is healthy. Micah Parsons working his way back from injury. A year and change removed from the trade, are we able to say who has yet won this deal?
So I'm confused. Like, between who?
Between Dallas and the Packers. Like, did Dallas end up worse for wear for moving on from Micah Parsons?
Even though Quinnen Williams was not a part of that transaction.
Correct, but I would say that was...
Like, who's better off when it's said and done? I see what you're saying.
Them getting Quinnen Williams was part of the Parsons trade, right?
I see what you're saying. Oh, I'll have to pull up all of the, all the capital that was moved around and what that's turned into. What do you, off the top of your head, what do you say?
Currently, right now, I would say that it's a pretty even trade. Micah Parsons not going to be healthy to start the season. Quinnen Williams is. Quinnen Williams is probably a top 3 defensive tackle. Micah Parsons could be thought of as a top edge when he's healthy. But the fact that he's not healthy, I think, gives slight lean to Dallas. I would say that it's a good trade for both sides currently.
Yeah, Green Bay, if we remember, acquired Parsons in exchange for Kenny Clark, the D tackle, and 2 first-round draft picks, and then he immediately agreed to that 4-year, $188 million deal. And then the Cowboys, before the trade deadline this past season, traded for Quinnen Williams in exchange for D tackle Mazi Smith, a second-rounder, and a conditional first-rounder, depending on which is higher between Cowboys and Packers, in the 2027 NFL Draft. So they basically sent one of the picks that they got from Green Bay. And here they are with an elite defensive tackle in Quinnen Williams, who they pay. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, they have an elite player in their front. It's Quinnen Williams instead of Micah Parsons, and they've got capital to play with. They're paying Quinnen Williams anyway. It does feel, it's a rare trade that actually feels very balanced, doesn't it? So I'm with you on that.
Right down the middle. We do have a little bit of breaking news that just came across, and one that we probably expected. The Vikings have named their starting quarterback. Any guesses? Max Brosmer, perhaps?
It seems like J.J. McCarthy's had a brutal camp. Just, from seeing stuff from afar, little nuggets here and there, mainly on social media. Yeah, Kyler Murray named the starter for the Minnesota Vikings. So no one should be surprised. J.J. McCarthy's going to be the backup. He's 23, missed his whole rookie year due to injury, started 10 games last year, went to the bench. What do we think about the J.J. McCarthy experience in Minnesota? What would it take for that to be salvaged? Is there any hope in Minnesota that McCarthy could still be the guy for them at any point moving forward?
I would say yes. And there's also probably a good chance that he might have to play this year. Kyler hasn't exactly been the picture of health. I don't have it in front of me, but when would be the last time that he played 17 games, a full season? I would imagine that at some point JJ will be called upon, and that's why it's an even crappier situation for the Vikings. This guy who now has probably had his confidence shaken a little bit, When Kyler inevitably gets dinged up at some point in the season and he has to come in, where is his mental? Is he able to re-engage 9 and bring 9 out, or is it the German 9? Like who is it going to be for the Vikings if J.J. McCarthy has to play? And that's not to say players can get better. Players can also get worse, but I would imagine that Kevin O'Connell's a smart coach. If he's able to get better, I think that he will get better. And you'll probably get another shot at that next year because Kyler's on a 1-year deal.
So Kyler did play all 17 games in 2024.
Okay.
But that was the first time since 2020 that he had played every game in a regular season. I'm very intrigued at the Kyler Murray experience with
Same.
Kevin O'Connell and that array of weaponry up in Minnesota. It's got to be easily the best situation he's had, right? From a skill position and play caller perspective. I mean, the last couple of years, that 2024 season, he plays all 17 games. Jonathan Gannon's the head coach. Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator. He's now the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. But this is a clear upgrade for Kyler Murray. Would it be that shocking for Kyler to have a Pro Bowl caliber season in Minnesota?
Ooh.
Like an actual Pro Bowl caliber season.
Not that he has to, make a Pro Bowl.
Right, not like the fourth alternate because all these guys are hurt. One of them's in the Super Bowl or whatever.
I would say yes, because I feel like the NFC West is going to beat up on each other. They have some nicks and bruises along the way for the quarterbacks there. The NFC North, I feel like it is a little convoluted in the fact of Green Bay's there, but what is Green Bay? Detroit dealing with brain drain for a second year. I could see a world where Kyler Murray is an above-average quarterback if he's able to stay healthy, given the weapons and given Kevin O'Connell what they would be able to do around Kyler with scheme and also the talent that's in Minnesota.
Meanwhile, I completely missed this happening in Vegas. While we're talking about the Cardinals and teams in the NFC West, or I guess this is the AFC West, but the Raiders held Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby out from practice after a scuffle that happened between the two this past weekend. On Friday, Cousins and Crosby got into it. They were held out of practice for disciplinary reasons Saturday, so Fernando Mendoza ended up getting first-team reps for the first time. They both practiced on Monday. I completely missed this. So Kirk Cousins, who I remind folks is, 38 years old, apparently got into a heated altercation with Max Crosby. And it's because Crosby apparently hit Cousins twice during team period on Friday. When Crosby hit Cousins' arm for a second time, Cousins, I'm reading from ESPN, got into Crosby's face, grabbed his jersey, both exchanged words, and it was broken up. And they both continued to practice following the scuffle. New head coach Clint Kubiak addressed the situation, and he said it's a byproduct of camp, but he wants the team's two leaders to be smarter with their emotions. He said, quote, "We have very clear expectations on how we want to practice, how we want to go about our business, and we violated that yesterday, so we held those guys out. That's all I'm going to say about it. We addressed it with the team, and we're moving on." The most unlikely, you immediately said something smells fishy here. Do you think this was orchestrated? You have a conspiracy about this situation.
This was 100% a plant by the new head coach. I think that he pulled him into his office and said, guys, I need you to cause a little ruckus today. I need you to cause a little friction and let me be the adult, step in, and it's going to galvanize both sides of the ball. The defense is going to rally around Max. The offense is going to rally around Kirk.
It's the two biggest names. Oh, jeez.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If Max is the leader that you say he is, and I know that he can be a little abrasive, he's not going to risk putting the starting quarterback in harm's way. Kirk, who is a library card-carrying member of the No Ruckus Committee, there is a 0% chance that this is real. I don't believe it. Oh, we're going to sit them both out from practice. The two guys who probably don't need to practice. Like Max Crosby, the injury concerns, the practice habits, whatever. Kirk Cousins, it just doesn't make much sense to me at all. Unless the coach was like, all right, guys, let's do this and bring everybody together and let me make an example of you two so that I have a louder voice in the room.
Yeah, thrust Mendoza into the first team reps without creating a ruckus of, Mendoza starting to take reps from Cousins.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, let's get Mendoza some first team reps. I just throw him in there, Oh, it's all because Kirk had to run his mouth and Max yesterday. So they're both going to sit out while Mendoza takes the first team.
Oh, man. Interesting. I could follow along that thread. Maybe that's a conspiracy theory that I could maybe buy into. I just can't believe I missed that. I completely missed that coming out of Raiders camp over the weekend. Now, I did not miss this coming out of Cleveland camp.
It depends what stat line you're talking about, because there was one stat line that was like Deshaun Watson had 7 touchdowns in practice. And then like 2 days later, it was the worst quarterback write-up I think I've ever read for an NFL team.
Okay, so reading this directly from Ashley Bastock that covers the Browns for Cleveland.com. She's a Browns team reporter. This is yesterday. Quote, end of Browns practice. 1 minute end of half situation. Sanders, Shedeur, up first, and the drive ends with 2 false starts on the line. Deshaun Watson next, and after 2 completions, a sack, an illegal formation, and a false start, Todd Monken ended practice and looked like he threw something. So everything is great in Browns land, it seems.
Sam Monson had the tweet of the year talking about this. He just quote tweeted it and said, maybe he can be the quarterback, alluding to Todd Monken throwing something. Maybe Todd Monken can be the quarterback of this Browns team.
Well, and then this happened the other day as well, where Todd Monken, and I think this is after that practice on Monday, Todd Monken got a little snippy with the media. I did not give this to you before the show, and there's an expletive here. So we don't need to play the audio. We don't have time to censor it. But Todd Monken made some comments. I'm going to read straight from his comments. Quote, I've been impressed with both players, talking about Watson and Shedeur Sanders, and the way they've handled the back and forth of the reps. And we're trying as best we can to balance the reps so we give them both the opportunity to showcase their skill set. It's never going to be perfect, and they've handled that great. He said Shedeur today was great. Sure, maybe Saturday he would have preferred to be with the ones. All of our guys should want to be with the ones, but they've been great. Then he said, and I think they've improved, but even the last week or so, Deshaun has played better. He has played better. He's looked better. He's made better decisions. And I think some of that grows, like all of us, as they have success. Their confidence grows with the success they have every day. And then he got a question from, this is Jeff Schudel of the News Herald, who said, after hearing that quote from Monken, hey, Todd, you mentioned that Deshaun is better. And Monken said, hold on, what? When did I say Deshaun is better? And Schudel continued. He said, were you saying he's gotten better since camp or that he's better than Shedeur? And then Monken said, I don't think I threw in there that he's better than Shedeur. I'm not sure I went that far, but I appreciate you trying to trap me in that Shiano, as Don would say. So got a little snippy with him. And,
Todd's tired of it.
That's just like lost in trend. I read that quote from Monken, and at no point did I think he was saying Watson was better than Shedeur. I think he was just saying generally Watson has been better than he was before. The reporter was trying to clarify that, and Monken, I appreciate you trying to trap me in that. But seems like Todd Monken's having a very flustered Browns training camp.
Yeah, just go to him and ask him how Taylon Green has looked. I'm sure that any chance Taylon Green gets some first-team reps?
Maybe Dylan Gabriel, or is he hurt right now?
No, he does not. He's not currently outlined in red, so I believe he is healthy.
Man. Is there any scenario where the Browns season's not an abject disaster in 2026? Like the roster's not among the worst in the NFL, top to bottom.
It's literally just the quarterback situation.
It's the quarterbacks.
If they had an average quarterback.
It's the quarterbacks and just the Browns of it all.
If they could have an Alex Smith be quarterback, and not even like a 49ers Alex Smith, like maybe like a Commanders Alex Smith after his leg was almost removed. Like that guy could take this team and have them be competitive. They have a good roster. I don't know. I don't know what would have to happen. Maybe all of those guys do like the Dragon Ball Z fusion and become one person. I'm not sure what would need to happen for them to be good. But like you said, the team is decent.
Yeah.
The team is not like a Cleveland Browns of old, like roster devoid of all talent. They have guys at multiple positions.
Yeah.
They have drafted really well. It's just going to stink when they have a really good pick next year and bring Arch, and then something else happens. They fire Monken. They don't have any consistency. I'm just glad it's not me. This is one of those things where you get extreme Schadenfreude looking at it, like the German word for finding happiness at the misfortune of others. All you can do is look at it and go, yeah, it's not going great, but at least we're not that guy.
Right.
Woof.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I mean, I am going to operate under the assumption forever that the Cleveland Browns, there's a curse there that just cannot be overcome at this point.
Everyone finds their way out, though, right? Like the Bills were a joke. They found their way out with a quarterback. The Lions were a joke. They found their way out with culture. Like, is there any chance that either one of those things are remedied with Todd Monken or a good draft pick in next year's draft? You would hope so, but I would not hold my breath.
Speaking of the Bills, Ben Solak put in some training camp intel from Buffalo's camp, and in here he talks about Keon Coleman and says there is still internal belief in wideout Keon Coleman, who comes into this year with much lower expectations than he did last year, battling with Josh Palmer, VFL, for the wide receiver 3 snaps behind Moore and Khalil Shakir, but he won't fade out of the rotation entirely, even if Palmer is the starter in 3 receiver sets. To Coleman's benefit, nobody on the bottom of the receiver depth chart is pushing for snaps ahead of him. So I guess Buffalo's just going to continue on, and Keon Coleman, we'll see if he can be a productive player. I truly wonder what his headspace is. Like, has he moved on from the Terry Pegula stuff?
How could you?
Right? Like, how does that not just linger? I mean, when we go back and think about it, what an insane thing for an owner to do. And we talked about it a ton when it happened. But to step to the podium and basically defend the decision of drafting this player that's still on your team and blaming it on a coaching staff that's now gone, and that player is going to come back and play for you the following year, how do you just let that go? Especially for a young player like Keon Coleman. Put yourself in the shoes of 23-year-old. How old's Coleman? He is 23. But they're operating business as usual in Buffalo.
You've got to have that dude with a sports psychologist every day and just be like, all right, what's our job today? Get better. What are we working on? Don't think about all the stuff in the offseason, the fact that they drafted Skylar Bell, a young upcoming wide receiver out of UConn. And none of the wide receivers are really pushing him. Oh, that's funny. Then why did you guys work out like 4 wide receivers and sign Dante Pettis? Oh, yeah, because the bottom of that roster's wide receivers are really churning. They're really working over there. You definitely don't need another body in that room who could help spread the field. Would it shock anyone if this cat's traded at the deadline? Like, I know there are other wide receivers like Booty and other guys that would make sense to be traded, but would it shock anyone if this guy's on another roster in 3 months?
Not at all. Not at all. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Rolling through some NFL headlines and training camp intel coming down from ESPN. In case you're just joining us, the Vikings have named Kyler Murray the Week 1 starter at quarterback against the Packers. J.J. McCarthy, the former number 10 overall pick, is going to be the 2 in Minnesota, as expected. I don't think that's any sort of shocking development, but Minnesota is making it official, and making it official pretty early on in training camp. Instead of dragging it out, it's pretty clear that Kyler Murray is going to be the guy.
Yeah, like this wasn't a foregone conclusion when he signed in the offseason. Like, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, go ahead, go into the preseason with J.J. McCarthy as your backup. Play him in those games under that pretense.
If the Steelers didn't have so many guys that were in the same vein of J.J. McCarthy, I would say, like, oh, yeah, just go ahead and ship him off and get him out of there. Like, send him to a team that's probably not going to have a chance to draft a quarterback early. But the Steelers already have too many guys already like that. Like, I don't even know what is JJ's best course of opportunity other than just sitting where he's at and hoping that he can impress them enough in practice to not bring another incumbent in to challenge him for the starting job next year.
Yeah.
There's not much he can do.
No. We'll see how that develops. We'll see what Kyler Murray's health looks like in 2026 and what that means for J.J. McCarthy. Okay, the Titans will be on the practice field against the Niners for a joint practice. Coming up, practice is scheduled to start in 22 minutes, so we will give you updates as we see them over the course of the next hour and a half or so. But there's a big game happening in Nashville on Saturday with a pretty big-name player that may or may not be in action, and that's because of a tragedy that occurred with his family. Now, with sensitivity towards that tragedy, the question that we have for you guys, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. What are the best post-mortem performances that you can think of in sports? An athlete losing a loved one and then channeling that into, honestly, an inspiring moment on the field or on the court. There's a few of those examples. There may be one in Nashville this weekend. We want to hear from you. 615-737-1045. That's next. You know, unfortunately, some of the most inspiring moments in sports can be born out of tragedy, right? We see this all the time. There was a tragedy in the life of one of the biggest athletes on the planet in Lionel Messi. Robert, I don't know if you saw this, but this past weekend, Lionel Messi's father, Jorge, passed away at the age of 68. It happened on Friday in Argentina, in Messi's hometown, following a prolonged illness that has been undisclosed. But it's a tragic, obviously, event for Lionel Messi, who was extremely close with his father. His father actually represented him for a very long time. He went to Barcelona with him when Messi was a child, maybe 8 or 10 years old. And so it's a horrible tragedy for Messi and his entire family. He has taken an indefinite leave of absence from Inter Miami. So he's back in Argentina now. On the field, there's a matchup coming up on Saturday. Nashville Soccer Club is hosting Inter Miami. It is a matchup between the number 1 team in Major League Soccer right now in Nashville and the number 2 team in Miami. Miami is currently 2 points back of Nashville at the top of the league standings. It's a rivalry that always produces games in big moments and obviously will do a lot to shape the course of this second half of the MLS regular season. So looking at this, there currently is no clear news on whether or not Messi's going to play Saturday. He missed their Leagues Cup game over the weekend against a Mexican team. He's likely going to miss their Leagues Cup game that happens tomorrow. But it's up in the air whether or not Messi will play on Saturday. So there's two sides of this, right? There's the sensitive part that this is a tragedy for Lionel Messi, who, you know, is an aging player. And I think we think of athletes when they get into their later 30s, Robert. You know, Messi's 39 years old, right? So he's ancient, you know, as it pertains to being a professional athlete. But he's also still in his 30s, which in the grand scheme of things is still a very young age to be. So to lose your father at that age is a shocking thing, I would imagine, for anybody, no different for Lionel Messi. Now, the question here is, will he play on Saturday? And if he does, what version of Lionel Messi will Nashville SC be up against? Because if he does, you know what and who he's going to be playing for. And I think the entire world will be watching, expecting Lionel Messi to do what he has done as the greatest player in the history of this game, and to do it to the nth degree in honor of his father. Like, I think any neutral fan would expect Messi's first game back after the passing of his father, who he was very close with, to be a hat-trick performance, an emotional performance where he's pointing up at the sky, all of these things, right? And it is Nashville that he's facing. We'll have the game on 104.5 The Zone. We'll also be broadcasting it on Sirius XM FC as well, 7 p.m. pregame, 7:30 kickoff. But we were chatting about this before the show, and it kind of struck up the conversation organically. What are some of the iconic sort of mourning performances from professional athletes? Guys that lost somebody in their lives, were playing with heavy hearts, and put out an emotional, incredible performance. Like, those are some of the coolest moments that you get in sports that are born out of tragic situations. And obviously, as Nashville SC fans, you don't want to fall victim to that kind of moment, but it just brought up an interesting conversation. And so I'm curious to see what people say. 615-737-1045. Do you have one at the top of mind?
Yeah, when we were talking about it, the first one that came to mind for me was Torrey Smith's performance against the Patriots after his brother died at 19. I believe it was a motorcycle accident. 6 catches, like 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. The talk before the game is he going to step out there? Are they going to play? He did. He balled out in honor of his brother. That was the first one that came to mind for me.
I thought of Isaiah Thomas during his run with the Celtics.
After his sister passed away? His sister passed away in a car accident the day before the Game 1 matchup against the Bulls in a first-round Eastern Conference series. He played. The day after she passed, he scored 33 points on 10 of 17, had 6 boards and 6 assists. After the series ended, he flew to Washington for the funeral and came back for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, had another 33 points. And then Game 2 against the Celtics, 53. He hung 53. So that was like a series of performances for Isaiah Thomas where the wound was fresh, and he talked about how close he was with his sister. Man, that's the type of thing that it turns sports into like a supernatural thing, right? Where something just possesses you.
and you feel like you're playing for something that's so much bigger than you've ever played for, or playing for someone that you've lost. I'm curious what people would say is at the top of their head when it comes to that. Jay is in Chattanooga up first. Hey, Jay.
Hey, what's up, guys? I saw I guess it was like an Instagram minute today, kind of reminded me of it, but Quan Alexander, when he was a rookie, I think he lost his brother, and Lovie Smith was like, hey, if you don't want to play, that's fine. And then the game was like 2 days later, and he was like, no, I'm playing. And he had like 11 tackles, a fumble, an interception. I think he did score a touchdown that they called back, but they ended up beating the Falcons 23-20 in overtime. And he was like a total wreck after the game. I was too. I think everybody watching it was. But that was an awesome moment, and I thought that was a good one to give.
That's a great submission. Thanks, Jay. I had not thought of Quan Alexander.
I had forgotten about that when he told me, so I'm glad he had the stats to back it up.
Let's go to Braden in Nashville next. Hey, Braden.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you taking my call. Probably not the best performance, but the first one that came to my mind was Marquise Goodwin, 2017. The morning of their game, his wife delivered a premature baby, and unfortunately they had lost that baby. Marquise Goodwin caught an 83-yard touchdown. I think he had a rush for 18 or so yards, had just over 100 yards and a touchdown on his only 2 touches, but definitely the first one to come to my mind.
That's another good submission. Appreciate it, Braden. The chat is chiming in as well. Brett Favre, absolutely an iconic moment like that. The 2003 performance against the Raiders, right? It was a Monday night game against the Raiders where he opted to play the day after his father passed away, and it was one of the performances of his career. 399, they won 41-7.
Yeah, that's good stuff. The other one the chat's bringing up is one that I did not think of, but when we started doing research on this was the shoe-in answer for me. Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning the 2001 Pepsi 400, the same track that his father died on just 4 months prior.
Like that stuff. How's there not a movie about that moment?
How do you not just crumble beneath the weight of your emotions in that? Like jubilation for winning, but also like remembering what happened there.
Will Bowling is in the chat. He says, D. Gordon hitting a home run after his teammate Jose Fernandez of the Marlins passed away. Yeah, that's a great submission. There are, Matt on the F&M Bank chat, MJ winning an NBA title on Father's Day after his father was famously murdered. Oh, man. I mean, there's so many of these. There's team performances like this. Daryl pointing out Team USA hockey winning gold to honor the Gaudreaus. Man, the Marshall Thundering Herd story after the plane crash.
And maybe not like a singular piece of death, but like something that impacted an entire state, an entire country in Katrina. The Saints winning the Super Bowl after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, there was one, I remember in the World Cup, Cody Gakpo, a forward for the Netherlands, scored a goal against Morocco in the knockout rounds, where 2 days prior, I think it was, he and his girlfriend had just found out that they had miscarried, that they had lost their baby, and you could just see him collapse with the emotion. Just so many examples of these. And the question is, do we see one Saturday at Chiodas Park? Again, it is up in the air. Nobody knows whether or not Lionel Messi is going to play, but this is a guy that just wants to play, who came back only 2 weeks after the World Cup. He could have taken over a month. Nobody would have batted an eye. And 2 weeks to the day after losing the final to Spain, Lionel Messi was back in action in MLS play for Inter Miami. After that incredible World Cup that he had with 8 goals throughout the course of the tournament, record-setting stuff for a 39-year-old player, just unfathomable performances, separating himself as the greatest of all time. And now he's dealing with tragedy. And Miami comes to Nashville on Saturday. So we'll see if that translates for Lionel Messi. And I can't imagine being on the other side of that, what that must be like if you are Nashville and preparing for that, not knowing if you're going to face him. So there's a lot of wrinkles to this Nashville-Miami game, not to mention the fact that, again, it's the top 2 teams in Major League Soccer. It's a rivalry renewed, and it's a game with already massive, massive stakes that there are going to be more eyeballs on it than even before if Messi does indeed come back to play his first game back after the passing of his father on Saturday. Let's go to Alex and MJ. Mount Juliet checking in. What's up, Alex?
Hey there. Just wanted to mention Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open after his dad died.
Yeah, that's a great submission, Alex. Tiger famously had a very long, sometimes complicated, but close relationship with his father. That's a great submission. Jim in Nashville's next. Hey, Jim.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Mine is going to be Michael Lorenzen when he was with the Reds in 2016. It was his first game back from bereavement leave following his dad's death. They come in, he pitches a scoreless inning in relief, and then he goes up to the plate and hits his first career home run, and it was like a 3-run moonshot. And his walk-up song was Who Are You, which was like his dad's favorite song, so he was like rounding the bases sobbing.
Oh, man. That's a great submission by Jim.
That's tough.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wait, does your dad have a song like that? My dad, his is Old Violin. Like, at times I feel.
Almost anything by U2. That's what my dad. If there's anything my dad raised me on musically, it would be U2.
Oh, so he was happy about that free album that they put on everyone's iPad. He's like, oh, we get free YouTube music. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Eric in Nashville will close out the conversation. Hey, Eric.
Hey, what's going on? So I originally called in, and my mind immediately went last segment to Isaiah Thomas with the 33 points the day after. And then the next series on his sister's would have been 23rd birthday, scoring 53. And also he was doing that with a pretty crazy dental surgery he had, before they went to Washington, because in that game one after his sister passed, he cracked his teeth and had a pretty wild injury.
That's right.
But as I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking of other instances, but probably my favorite one as of recent was when the Angels threw a combined no-hitter after pitcher Tyler Skaggs had passed away, unfortunately. That's probably my favorite, not favorite one, but just more memorable one as of recent.
No, that's a great submission. I had forgotten about the Angel situation with Tyler Skaggs. Great submission by Eric. I had also forgotten the wrinkles to the Isaiah Thomas one about the injury and the fact that he dropped 53 on what would have been his sister's birthday. I mean, so, some things like you can't make up. Like there are scripts that the Dale Earnhardt one, like if you wrote that script in a movie, it's very Hollywood, right? The fact that happened is like, that's like the higher power type of stuff starts to creep in. You're like, no, this is something different, right? This is something bigger. So interesting side conversation that we struck up. I'm glad people were happy to chime in. V-Love has tweeted at us as well, Russell Westbrook's 2020 performance after Nipsey Hussle was killed, who was Russell was close to.
If you go watch that game, like there are supercut highlights of that game, Westbrook was insane. Like I know at the end of his career, everybody wants to talk about him not being a great teammate or not being like the guy that you want on your team because he's a ball hog or whatever. That game, he was a man possessed. It is insane. If you want to watch someone give the single, this would be maybe a bridge too far, but one of the most impressive performances in basketball, that was insane.
2019, 20 points, 20 boards, 21 assists for Russ against the Lakers for the Thunder. Just crazy, crazy numbers. Okay, so appreciate everybody kind of chiming in on that. We'll see if Lionel Messi takes the field on Saturday. If he does, expect the best version of Lionel Messi, a supercharged, emotional Lionel Messi, and obviously a horrible situation for him and his family. Hope they're finding peace during this time. The Titans will be on the practice field in San Francisco in a matter of minutes. We'll get into it when we come back. 12:04, good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans practice with the San Francisco 49ers begins now on the West Coast. It'll be one joint practice today before that preseason opener on Thursday. Meanwhile, in NFL news, the Dallas Cowboys and star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams agreed to a 3-year extension worth $105.9 million and includes $101 million guaranteed. The $35.3 million annual average makes it the second highest among defensive tackles, just ahead of the Titans' Jeffrey Simmons and just behind Eagles D tackle Jalen Carter. In other news, a quarterback starter has been named. Minnesota has made it official. Kyler Murray is going to be the starter for the Vikings in 2026, beating out former number 10 overall pick J.J. McCarthy very early on in training camp. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. All right, joint practice starting up as we speak on the West Coast. Titans and 49ers, one joint practice before the preseason opener for the Titans on Thursday. Robert, a quick moment of spirit bombing to preserve the Titans' health around the electric substation. Thank you. See if that works over the course of the next hour or so. We will provide updates as we see them, as you guys will see them on social media. I know Buck is out there, Teron Davenport's out there, Paul Kaharski, Jim Wyatt, some of the Titans media core. Ramon Foster, of course, is out there as the new Titans radio color analyst. We will have Buck on the show tomorrow and Thursday from the West Coast to detail what he sees out at practice. But until then, we will do our best to keep you abreast of what's happening out there. Some NFL news that we have hit on throughout the course of the day. Quinnen Williams got paid. He is now just a shade ahead of Jeffrey Simmons, and he is the second highest paid D tackle in the NFL. 3-year, $105.9 million deal with Dallas, $101 million of it in guaranteed money. And we have a QB starter in Minnesota, Kyler Murray, named very early on in camp, well before the start of the preseason for the Vikings, which tells you it was never really close, and it certainly felt that way from everything that was coming down from Vikings camp. And Robert, here's this, maybe a little nugget, little carrot to dangle for people to watch some preseason football. Can I interest you in Anthony Richardson being named the starter for the Colts against the Patriots on Thursday?
Good for him. Good for him, right? This is the guy that's wanted to trade all offseason. He requested one around the draft. Crickets, nobody's really interested. This is exactly what he needs.
Nothing like a little trade showcase in the preseason.
Yeah, that's not what they're doing. They're just giving him an opportunity to go out there and showcase what he's got. He's not. They're not trying to audition him for other people's teams.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people will be watching that game. Is that on Thursday outside of Titans and Niners kicking off at 8? We have Lions, Bengals, Packers, Steelers, Colts, Patriots, Cardinals versus Raiders, and Chargers versus Texans. I'd say Anthony Richardson and the Colts outside of the Titans-Niners game. If there's any preseason game that I'm likely to flip on and watch, the first quarter of or so, is going to be to watch Anthony Richardson against the Patriots at Gillette Stadium. I mean, that whole situation has been so interesting. Chris Ballard early in camp basically saying they'd be willing to take 3 quarterbacks on the initial 53. It doesn't seem like Anthony Richardson is even the backup at this point, that Riley Leonard is ahead of him in the pecking order. Obviously, Daniel Jones is the starter, and Daniel Jones confirmed today will not play during the preseason, which makes sense for a player coming off both an ACL, not an ACL, but a fibula and an Achilles tear. Severe injuries to end his season. It's crazy enough that he's going to play expectedly in week 1. And then, before we start to get updates from Titans practice, I don't think you were here, Robert, when we did this. Bill Barnwell put together an article basically projecting future Hall of Famers from all 32 teams. Basically, he asked the question, how many Hall of Famers are currently playing in the NFL? and he went all 32 teams and had multiple categories, guys that are in already, like Myles Garrett, Matthew Stafford, guys that if they keep it up will be in, guys that have work to do, guys that are on the cusp. He had all sorts of categories for this. I wanted to get your thoughts on what he did with Josh Allen. Bill Barnwell says Josh Allen is in. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Do you agree with that? Like if his career ended today.
I'm like the wrong guy to ask
I
this
know,
to, right?
I know. That's why I'm doing this, because you hate Josh Allen or you hate the Bills.
If I'm taking my fan hat off, is he Phillip Rivers? Like he's won things. Like he's. It's not like he hasn't won anything. He has playoff wins. Like he is
has
a
playoff wins.
He is a top 4, top 3 quarterback. Like. Is that enough to get you in the Hall of Fame? If he were to retire right now, he would be a Hall of Fame quarterback. So you would say the exact same thing about Lamar Jackson. You would say the exact same thing about, I don't know.
I disagree with Bill Barnwell. Like Josh Allen may be, I mean, he's a bit of a unicorn, but the guy's 30 years old. He's thrown for 30,000 yards. He's thrown for 98 touchdowns, 94 interceptions, I will add. And he has 8 playoff wins. He's 8-7 in the postseason. Never been to a Super Bowl. So because, like what? I guess what prerequisites are we meeting here for Josh Allen to be a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame now at the age of 30? And this is what he writes, and this is really what I take issue with, Robert. Bill Barnwell writes, Allen would be the quarterback on the all-decade first team if it were to be released tomorrow. Although, he says, there would at least be some debate about instead awarding it to Jackson or Patrick Mahomes.
It would be Mahomes.
In what world would it not be Pat Mahomes?
What are we talking about?
Like you talk about if it ended today, they're in. Patrick Mahomes is in. In fact, I'd put Lamar in over Allen if it ended today.
Anything I say about this is going to be misconstrued as fandom, but like the records that Lamar has broken, everything that goes along with it, he is the best dual threat rushing quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
With the caveat that Cam Newton is probably the best red zone quarterback of all time. He has the most touchdowns of any quarterback. But so I looked this up. How many former MVPs are not in the Hall of Fame? There are 13 of them.
Okay.
Quarterback-wise, Steve McNair, who was a co-MVP, I believe, right? Or did Steve?
You know what? He shared it with Peyton Manning.
So Rich Gannon, Sean Alexander, who's not a quarterback, but I also wondering why the hell Sean Alexander's not in the Hall of Fame. Those are the ones from the 2000s. So if you just want to say he was an MVP, he was the best at his position in a year, sure, I would listen to that argument. But I feel like Bill is putting this in such a way that you can't have an argument against it. Sure, if he retired today, probably he would be in because that would be a story, right? The same thing with Luke Kuechly going in after he played such a short time. Luke was the best linebacker in the NFL the entire time he was in the NFL for most cases.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sure, he's probably a Hall of Famer, probably. But to say it so brazenly.
I even struggle with saying probably. Like,
he's the best Bills quarterback of all time.
Sure. Steve McNair is the best Titans quarterback of all time. Right? He's not good. So, Phillip Rivers, how would you describe Phillip Rivers' Hall of Fame case? In like 1 or 2 or 3 words. Like, how would you?
Statistically, he was a top 5 quarterback generally. Just like had a ton of yards.
Like if we had to put an adjective on it, like on the line, teetering.
I would say below the line.
Below the line.
Yeah, he never won anything of consequence. And Phillip Rivers also doesn't have an MVP.
Yeah, and Josh Allen already has 3 more postseason wins than Phillip Rivers did. But to put it into context, Phillip Rivers played 20-plus years in the NFL and threw for almost 64,000 yards. And I think most of us agree he's kind of right under that line to get into the Hall of Fame. Josh Allen, who's played now 8 seasons, has 30,000 yards. and he's a Hall of Famer now? I thought that was insanity from Bill Barnwell. Like, let's talk about Pat Mahomes. We don't even need to argue about that. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's a shoo-in at this point.
Yeah, to say that Josh Allen is the decade's team quarterback is rough.
The first team all-decade quarterback in the 2020s? What are we doing? How enamored are we with this guy? Again, if we had to put Allen here and Lamar here, I'm putting Lamar in over Josh Allen, Robert. Lamar has done things Lamar has multiple 1,000-yard seasons as a quarterback. Dude rushed for 1,200 yards while throwing 36 touchdown passes in 1 year. I don't know. I thought that went so under the radar, just how insane of a comment that was from Bill Barnwell to say that Allen is the quarterback of the 2020s when Patrick Mahomes exists is wild. Absolutely wild to say. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that, I don't know. I feel like I'm not getting like unanimous agreement on it. I just think it's insane, an insane thing to say that Allen is done and dusted. He's a Hall of Famer, lock.
I would listen to that argument because he is one of the best quarterbacks of the what I have an issue with is saying, like, far and away, he's the quarterback over Mahomes. So Mahomes has played in one more season than Josh Allen, 9 years to 8 years, but Patrick Mahomes didn't play his rookie year. So if you look at their passing yard disparity, in which Josh Allen did play, he didn't play very well, but he did play his rookie year. Josh Allen has 30,102 passing yards in 8 seasons. Patrick Mahomes has 35,939, almost 5,000 more passing yards with basically the same amount of years starting.
Yeah, man. Like, what are we doing here?
And not to mention the fact that he's been AP1, MVP, Super Bowl MVP. That's where I have issue. I would listen to Josh Allen being a Hall of Famer because you can make the argument that he has been one of the best top 2, not 2 in certain situations, quarterback.
To be fair, he also has Lamar as in when he does his Ravens portion. He says Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are in the Hall of Fame.
I would listen to a Lamar case too, but I don't even think Lamar's in.
I know. Like how loose are we being with this? Derrick's in, right? Like
Derek's in, but I feel like that's a whole nother, like, Hall of Fame to me, you have to be the best player at your position for a number of years.
Yes.
And you have to be you have to transcend the game, right? Like, what you have to affect how we looked at the game with how you played. And I think Josh has done that. I think Lamar has done that, but I don't think either one of them have done enough winning at the highest level to just say they're a shoo-in. I would listen to the argument for both of them, but they don't have the big wins to help push them over the top.
Okay, so the Titans are trying to get some wins on the joint practice field today. Some one-on-one wins, some matchup wins ahead of the preseason opener on Thursday, and we will continue to update you on anything that comes down from joint practice. But as practice gets underway, let's talk about it. Who has the most to gain and who has the most to lose as they get work against the Niners this week? We'll talk about it next.
The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you through the process of aging, because once you get to a certain point, things in your body stop acting the way that they used to. You feel a little less like yourself. And the Tennessee Men's Clinic has been in business almost 20 years, treating men in Tennessee with real history and helping guys get better and better every year. They're now open in Murfreesboro, Nashville, Franklin, and Clarksville, serving Middle Tennesseans across the board. A lot of guys the pills don't work for or never really did. That's exactly who the Tennessee Men's Clinic is built for. Every visit includes an ED evaluation, not because something's wrong, but just because keeping your levels healthy is one of the best ways to keep ED from ever starting. They're here to help you through that process, and the lab offer right now only $99 for a full hormone panel plus a PSA. Your exact number is what you will find out in about an hour when you visit them. So call today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Titans and Niners getting together for joint practice today in Santa Clara, right under the shadow of Levi's Stadium. So as updates come down, we will keep you updated. Welcome back to the show. Lucas and Robert with you until 1 o'clock. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Feel bad for all of the Titans media and personnel out there that do not have access to Hattie B's on the West Coast, but they'll be back soon enough after the preseason opener, Titans and Niners, on Thursday.
Hey, that new sandwich?
Yeah, you just had it. You had it cold, too.
Gas. I like their this is like complimenting like a backup nickel in the NFL, but like I love their pickles. Their pickles just set it off. They're not like little wimpy pickles or like thin cut. They're just thick dudes.
And they won't tell me where they come from.
Really?
Yeah. Anthony was here yesterday.
I was literally about to ask if we could effort that information.
I tried because I said that to him. I was like, how are y'all's pickles so good? Like, please tell me where you get these pickles. And he gave me the "if I told you I'd have to kill you" line.
I'd be willing to accept that death. I would have the greatest postmortem performance after the next day on this show once we found out where the hell they get those pickles from, because they are exceptional. And I'm a pickle guy. Like I like the finer details of pickling, right? Like and when you get one of those, a good pickle on a chicken sandwich, it's like cheese to a burger. Like if the cheese is messed up or it's hard or the wrong cheese, you mess the whole thing up. If you go with the wrong pickle on a chicken sandwich, messed up.
Yeah.
Don't give me a gherkin. I need a hearty dill. Give me the real thing, the real deal, if you will.
Robert is referencing the Hattie Melt that he just tried. We're talking about fried or grilled chicken. It could be sweet and smoky, which is what you had. It could be any one of Hattie B's spice levels with melted cheese, pickles, and that brand new Hattie Q sauce. So literally a chicken melt from Hattie B's. Just awesome.
I like the inverse bun, too.
Yeah.
That was a little different.
Yeah.
Like usually,
I like the texture it gives.
Usually and I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'm a take one of the buns off kind of guy. Like if I get a fast food burger or really anything that's a sandwich, I'll throw the bottom bun off. I didn't even need to. I feel like flipping the buns made it an easier access to bite it. It was interesting.
Very interesting concept.
I love that daggum sauce.
Download the Hattie B's app today. You're going to want to get in on that. Try that sauce, that new melt, before it is too late. Go to Hattie B's, any one of their Middle Tennessee locations. You can go at Geodis Park and at Nissan Stadium as well. So you can't get Hattie B's at Levi's Stadium, which is unfortunate for everybody in Santa Clara. But the Titans are on the practice field. I guess nothing has really started as far as team drills, any individual stuff between Titans and Niners, because I'm not seeing anything yet from the likes of Buck and TD and Jimmy Wyatt that are out there. Now, Robert Saleh will speak after practice. Carnell Tate, Cam Ward, and Cedric Gray are all scheduled to speak. I don't know that they're going to live stream those. I imagine they will. Either way, we're not going to be able to carry them for you. Stay tuned with Cover 2 to see if you can catch any of that audio coming up after us. But who has the most to gain? Who has the most to lose at joint practice? It's the only joint practice that the Titans are doing with the 49ers. And my mind went straight when it comes to who has the most to gain, Robert, to J.C. Latham, who this week, like this season, Latham has a lot to lose, right? His spot at right tackle, the belief in him in the future of the right tackle position. But at this joint practice, as we zoom in, there's nothing for J.C. Latham to lose, right? Like health stuff notwithstanding. J.C. Latham's not going to lose the starting right tackle spot to Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon or Austin Deculus. That's not going to happen. But what does J.C. Latham have to gain, whether it's confidence, as he talks about that? He's talked about that a lot this offseason, about hiring a mental coach, which we discussed a little bit yesterday. Just the reps to get into shape coming off of an injury ahead of the season. Is there a player on the offensive line to you that maybe has more to gain than J.C. Latham at this joint practice?
Either of the two guard backups. So I would go with Slater and Carmona have the most to gain, and the inverse of that is Cordell Volson has the most to lose. If there is a clear separation there is not a clear separation between a guy on a one-year deal and two guys that you have 3 years and 4 years of team control respectively left, I would err on the side of the rookies, the guy that you have control over, similar to the Vols quarterback situation. Do you want to go with a guy who has one less year of eligibility, or do you want to go with the five-star that's coming in? If all things are the same or similar or close, why not go with the guy who can, one, be here longer and is more highly touted? I think Volson, if he has a bad practice, I don't think he's going to lose the right guard spot, but maybe close the distance between him and Fernando Carmona or Jackson Slater.
Yeah, a good way to look at this is exactly that, looking at the closest position battles on the roster, right? The guard spot is absolutely one of those. The right guard spot specifically when we're talking about starting positions. Elsewhere on the offense, we get into semantics when we talk about starters when it comes to the wide receiver position, right? Like a starter is a guy that's on the field for the first snap. He could also end up playing 20% of the snaps in that game, as opposed to offensive line, where if you're starting on the offensive line, you're probably going to play, in the best case scenario, the entire game. But I'm wondering about Calvin Ridley because Alec Iomanner has continued to flash through training camp. Calvin Ridley has been good. I mean, he's been fine. There's been moments, though. There's been a drop here or there where you continue to kind of scratch your head and wonder about the curious case of Calvin Ridley, who, when you look at him, when you watch him on the practice field, just looks like what a number one receiver in the NFL is supposed to look like, right? Just so clean and fluid in his movement, getting in and out of breaks. The explosiveness, the speed is still very much there for a guy that's north of 30 at this point. But is there a world in which Calvin Ridley could really lose his spot to Alec Iomanner throughout the course of training camp?
Lose is such like a relative term, right?
At the wide receiver position especially, it's an incredibly relative term.
And I thought Nick Suss did a good job of putting this into eloquent words when he was in with us last week, I believe. Like, they both do different things.
Yeah.
And Robert Saleh isn't really the type of guy to say, hey, I know that you're training behind and you're going to be our X receiver, but also I'd like you to learn the Z. I'd like you to learn. That's not the kind of guy that Robert Saleh is. But if you zoom out, the writing is on the wall for Calvin Ridley going into next year. $22.5 million in savings if he is released. So they were able to come to an agreement this offseason in adjusting his contract to make it a little more palatable. But I think Calvin Ridley is in a situation where, and probably an advantageous position where he is not going to be expected to carry the brunt of the workload offensively. They have a number of guys who can help carry the rock in that situation. So lose snaps, potentially, maybe in certain situations. But I feel like he's going to be one of the guys as long as he's healthy and he's able to contribute.
I think Nick Singleton has a lot to gain. He's buried on the depth chart, which is typically the case for rookies in that first unofficial depth chart. I mean, they've got him, they've got Tony Pollard as the one, Tyjae Spears, and then Michael Carter on the second team. And then they have Julius Chestnut, Kalel Mullings, and Nicholas Singleton as the third team running backs in that order. Singleton's a guy that is going to be on this 53, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Like, you can't put that guy on waivers. Yeah. He would not make it to your practice squad.
He's been good enough in camp, I think, too. We've seen some good stuff from Nicholas Singleton. But a good performance against that Niners defense, next unofficial depth chart that comes out, could absolutely see Singleton rising up that board.
All right, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. A guy that the Titans, that has the most to gain, and also the Titans don't need him to do that well. I think Jaren Kanak is going to make the roster. That would mean that they carry at least 4 tight ends. I don't think he can have the best week of his practice this week because Kyle Juszczyk is injured. I don't know if you saw this. He broke his finger last week. We don't know if he's going to be available in practices this week, if he's going to tough it out, or if he's going to sit on the sideline. A team that also has running back issues. I'm not saying that Jaren Kanak is a running back, but a player that can be used in a multiple different ways, out of the backfield, as a tight end, as a blocker, as a receiver. I would not be showcasing all the ways in which you are going to use him in case that maybe there's a logjam and they say, we really need to keep Kyle Granson. We really need to keep DMR. Maybe we keep Jaren Kanak as a secret. and we try to get this 7th-round pick on the practice squad. You don't need to do it in front of Kyle Shanahan because he already needs someone to back up the old Kyle Juszczyk. So while Jaren Kanak has a lot to gain in these practices, maybe the Titans just don't use him the way that they want to use him because it might set off the spidey senses for other teams around the league.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in. You're just full of the tinfoil hat stuff today.
Just looking out, you know.
This is from Nick Wagner, who covers the 49ers for ESPN. He says that Mike Evans is in uniform and warming up for joint practice with the Titans. So maybe we do see a little bit of work. I'd love to see some reps between Mike Evans and Alontae Taylor in team drills, right?
I mean, they've gone against each other in the past.
Absolutely. Used to share a division in the NFC South. Would enjoy seeing that physical battle taking place on the field. We've also got, now that, warm-ups are really getting underway, honestly, we're probably not going to get a lot of real team drill stuff happening during the show. So stay tuned to Cover 2, and they'll probably have more for you on stuff that's actually happening. They're getting out there. They're warming up. But just about every Titans reporter out there is just doing this wide pan of the field, and the way the substation just looms in the background. They have put the Titans on the field closest to the substation, by the way.
Oh, no. They're using the Titans as a buff?
They did. Is that what this is this whole time?
No.
Said maybe if they just attract... I don't even know what the scientific theory is around the substation causing injuries.
The electromagnetic field or something. See, it's something that's way beyond our brain power. Yeah.
What are they even saying is scientifically causing these injuries? Let's see. What do you think Google AI has to say? So the 49ers investigated a viral internet conspiracy theory claiming that an electrical substation next to their Santa Clara practice facility was causing the team's high rate of injuries through electromagnetic field exposure. So the rumors suggest that low-frequency magnetic fields damage cellular mitochondria and dehydrated player tissue, leading to soft tissue injuries.
Well, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes, it is. When did we learn that?
Had to be third grade.
Why did that stick with everybody? That's one of those things that just stuck with everybody. Everybody knows the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Do you remember coloring in a cell? And it'd be the ribosomes, and it's color these, this, color that.
I absolutely remember that.
I probably still stuck on my mom's fridge somewhere.
Tyler says, I don't think a couple days exposure is enough to cause issues. Yes, I think it's clearly it's multiple weeks of exposure. It builds on itself.
That's a little bit of cope.
So,
did you have anybody on the defensive side you thought stood to gain?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Hill, I think for obvious reasons, this is a rookie that we all fully expect to be on the team, right? Out of Texas, the second-round draft pick that's currently behind Diabate on the unofficial depth chart. It's not to crown Anthony Hill yet because he's done nothing worthy of being crowned, but I think Anthony Hill probably will continue to rise up the depth chart, and that has to happen with performances in these settings in joint practice against the Niners.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another player that's a little deeper on the depth chart. It's former 7th-round pick Jalen Harrell. A lot has been made out of the new acquisitions and everybody that's been brought in here, the first-round pick in Falk and everyone else that stuck out. But very quietly, Jalen Harrell has been having a decent go at things. If he could come out here and really shine against the 2s and 3s, I wonder if that wouldn't open up and none of these guys are pass rushers. They're all defensive linemen now. But when the depth chart came out, Jacob Martin is sitting at the top of the depth chart for that position. So I wonder if he couldn't close that gap a little bit and maybe get a couple more snaps on defense with a good performance this week.
Yeah, don't forget, Jalen Harrell finished last season with 4 sacks in 5 games. Titans were obviously depleted defensively, traded away Draymond Jones, and were just playing with what they had. But in that back stretch, Jalen Harrell started to pick up some steam, the 7th-rounder out of Michigan. He currently is listed behind both Jacob Martin, the free agent acquisition, and the rookie first-rounder Keldrick Falk at one of those defensive end positions. The other defensive end position has Jermaine Johnson as the starter and Femi Oladejo as the 2. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. So we will continue to update you on anything that we see out of Titans and 49ers joint practice, mostly just substation content from the likes of Buck and Teron Davenport and Nick Suss out there. We will take your phone calls and wrap up the show when we come back.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
Wrapping up the show, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Titans and Niners, early portions of joint practice. Don't think any team drills have started yet. Want to see Cam Ward and Cardell Tate continue to steal the show a little bit, right? I mean, Friday, that was the big takeaway from the open practice at Nissan Stadium. And you come away from that thinking, yeah, that makes sense, right? That the number 1 overall pick at quarterback going into his second year and his connection with the number 4 overall pick at wide receiver going into his rookie year was the thing that Titans fans left Nissan Stadium chattering the most about, as it should be. We'll see if that carries into joint practice today against San Francisco. Mike in White House wants to talk about the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Hey, Mike.
What's up, guys? Hey, I want to talk about that, but also just want to touch on Calvin Ridley real quick. Mitochondria, the reason you guys remember that is because in school they taught us that it's a powerhouse of the cell. It's mighty, the mitochondria. But Calvin Ridley, I think maybe they're going to try to put that dude up on the trade block before the trade deadline hits. I think, people are probably going to go down. I think they might have some room for him on the roster. We're pretty deep, so we got room to move him. I think that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. So much would be dependent on the state of the Titans season when the trade deadline rolls around. Calvin Ridley's season, if he's healthy, if he's producing, he'll turn 32 in December. But, yeah, that's absolutely on the table, right? For Calvin Ridley to be a potential trade piece for a team looking to bolster wide receiver depth for a postseason run in the backstretch. But there's so much that would need to happen between now and then for Calvin Ridley to be a viable asset for somebody to trade for.
And even if that did happen, I wouldn't expect the pick to be impressive.
Right.
The team next year is going to have to eat, if they cut him, which they probably would because they probably don't want him to play under a $29 million cap hit. They would be able to release him, but they'd still have to eat $7.5 million in dead money. Like, you wouldn't be getting a flashy pick for Calvin Ridley, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, this is a guy that missed over half the season last year. Did have a 1,000-yard season in 2024, but it was anything but consistent from Ridley in 2024. He still dealt with drops, and there was a lot of yardage racked up when the season was completely lost towards the end. He's not been he's had injury issues in his career. The main issue for him was the gambling suspension, missing the entirety of the 2022 season. But, I mean, before going into last year, he had played in all 17 games in the 2 years prior. But, again, 2024, it's kind of a deceiving thing, Robert. You look at his stat line, he played in all 17 games, he had 1,000 yards, but when you look closer, Calvin Ridley was not as consistent and available as the numbers would suggest in 2024.
Inconsistent's probably the best word, right?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even talk about the drop issues, the drops that kind of reared their ugly head in Jacksonville and then showed up again the first year in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And this isn't to say he's a bad player either, just maybe a little overpriced for what he's providing currently.
Yeah, he'd have to be having a really nice season, I think, for you to get anything meaningful for Calvin Ridley come trade deadline. Jay in Donaldson wants to talk about the mitochondria. Hey, Jay.
Hey, how you fellas doing today?
Great.
Great. Hey, I'm an electrician. I've been doing this electrical work for about 20 years now, so I think I can understand the powerhouse situation.
Oh, this is fantastic. Okay.
Because you got to think about this, because, electricity got 3 phases. You got the middle phase, which is negative phase. I think that's what's messing with their bodies. It's not going to ground. It's going to the bodies of the athletes, so it's put them to the ground. And I can understand that. So the other day, I was in the front yard practicing with my son, and I took off, and I think I blew my Achilles.
Oh, my goodness, Jay. Are you all right?
No, I got 3 kids. No, I'm not all right.
Oh, my goodness. Wait, hold on. Wait, you blew your Achilles. What does that have to do with an electrical substation? Are you near a substation?
He's an electrician.
I'm an electrician.
I see. You just spending time. Oh, wow. Okay.
I've been for 20 years now. So that's what I'm saying.
Now, do you think that it is because of your proximity to these situations, or do you think respectfully it is because you're not a professional athlete and we're all subject to something like this happening as we age?
I take offense to that. I am a professional. I'm a professional electrician, okay?
No. I know you're a professional electrician, Jay, but you are not. You get what I'm saying. All right, well.
The proximity, no, it doesn't bother you. It's stupid. Because if it's true, Electricians should have been sick. We should do a class action lawsuit right now. Every electrician in America, we need to get paid. That's all I got to say.
So well, hold on, Jay. As an electrician, then, you do not buy the substation conspiracy that it contributes to the Niners' rash of injuries?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
okay,
not.
good. Thank you. You've given us all some peace of mind here. Thank you, Jay and Donaldson.
Another thing, one more thing. You got to remember, Jesus wasn't a carpenter, but his daddy was an electrician. All right, I'm out.
Thanks for the call, Jay.
You would know if you blew your Achilles. I will say that. Have you ever been in the room when somebody snaps their Achilles?
No, I mean, the only exposure I've had to stuff like that is in sports.
At wrestling tournament, maybe my sophomore year, our best wrestler, he had placed in states the year before. Guy shot in on him. He went to sprawl, so where you throw your hips out and down. And when he did that, where his leg placed, he popped his Achilles, and it rolled up the back of his ankle like a fruit roll-up. And the noise it made is just like you could hear the pop. So you would know, you would hear it, and you would feel it, and you'd go, oh, why is there a fruit roll-up attached to
No, that's brutal.
back of my leg?
That is brutal. Okay, so do we feel better?
No.
No?
Not at all.
A professional electrician has called in. He thinks it's BS that if this was the case, then electricians would have been suffering injuries for decades and there would be class action lawsuits. You're not buying it.
I'm not buying it.
You think the substation is a problem?
I think, well, electricians, they still have weekends off, right? I think if you have prolonged exposure to these things, and he said he thinks he knows what's happening, right? It's going to the players instead of grounding out. So maybe they need to find a way to ground this electricity a little bit better so it's not going to the players. Maybe they should put them in giant, like, suits of like, I don't know, rubber, like, just cover them in tires or something. Like, make it so they are like an anti-Pikachu uniform.
Bustin' Diamond on the FNM Bank chat says Jay's out here pushing propaganda for Big Electric. That's what that was.
Just thinking about Caleb Forrest Achilles going all the way up to his butt cheek.
Dude,
Poor
that's
guy.
so brutal. Okay, no team drill stuff has started. So like I said, that's not going to happen probably until after the show. They're doing warm-ups. They're doing individual stuff. We don't even have one-on-ones yet between Titans and Niners. So we'll see what comes out of joint practice. Again, the Titans are doing this against all three opponents. The other two will be here. No more electric substations if they can just get through the day. And then I'll be very intrigued, Robert, to see what decision Saleh makes lineup-wise on Thursday, depending on the work that they get in today. I mean, again, he said all the way back to, I think it was minicamp OTAs at some point during the offseason program, yeah, guys are going to play all three games. There will be exceptions, of course, but we'll see how aggressive Saleh is towards that, especially if they do get some good work in today.
And if you missed the announcement earlier in the show, Buck is going to get an interview with Jeffrey Simmons, which we will play on the show tomorrow. I'm sure we will put that out and make it public whenever we are going to. If you miss it, make sure you go back and listen to the podcast or check it out on the YouTube 1045 The Zone. We are within 100 subscribers of our 20,000th subscriber. So
we are.
If you are not yet subscribed, make sure you do that. Go hit the like button on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell. So every time we put a video out, put some practice clips out. Kroll and Ross have done an exceptional job getting the practice drill videos out. So you can go check those out on the YouTube. The YouTube is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. Make sure you subscribe and like the video if you have not yet done so.
Yeah, you can go back and watch interviews, sit-downs from training camp with Cedric Gray, with Mitchell Trubisky, other shows that have chatted with Keldrick Falk, Tajay Spears, Anthony Hill. So go check it out and look forward to seeing what comes down from joint practice today. Again, I'm going to keep coming back to let's get some momentum with the Cam Ward, Carnell Tate connection, right? Like, let's hear more about that with every joint practice, with every stage that comes and goes throughout the course of training camp. And then we'll have a preseason game to play on Thursday. Robert, it's happening.
I can't wait. And I know y'all probably already talked about that, but that Hall of Fame game.
It was elite.
It was the
electric.
greatest Hall of Fame game of all time.
Had to be. Hall of Fame game.
The over-under on that game was like 33 and a half, 34 and a half.
I think they each hit it. Each team hit it.
It was awesome. I needed more. The next day, I was upset that there weren't more games. That did everything I needed it to do for me. I just wish that there was like some D3 schools or like give me some college football. Even if it's like European football, I don't care. I just need to watch grown men slam into each other. Haynes King, dude. It was just everything it needed to be. I wish every Hall of Fame game was that good.
Yes. We could only hope for the rest of the preseason to live up to the incredibly high standard set by the Hall of Fame game. We'll see if Titans-Niners does. On Thursday, first joint practice will continue on. Cover 2 with Blaine and Zach. We'll have you updated with everything else happening on the West Coast over the next couple of hours. We'll be back at it tomorrow with Buck chiming in from Santa Clara. But until then, we'll catch you guys later.